Anyway, so here's the game, guys. It's called A Case of Distrust. So apparently it's set in the 1920s, which, by the way, make yourselves feel old now, or like make yourselves feel young. But 1920s was 100 years ago, guys. It's 100 years ago. No, it's not the same. Oh, it's not the same. That's cool. Greatest invention stream. Doing great, had fish balls. Oh my god, fish balls. And a naked burrito. So, it's a salad. Because if you remove the bread on a burrito, it's just rice and lettuce and meat. So it's a meal. Anyway, this game is set in the 1920s, and you play as a girl, like a woman detective person. That's what all I know, and all I know is that it's a short game. So let's have fun, guys. By the way, is the game too loud? Because if it is, I have to manually change it from OBS. And I heard that this game has really good aesthetic and also a really good soundtrack. No more backpack, because we're not on an adventure, Nari. Also, hey, Nari, how's it going? We are, however, going to the past, guys. So, anyway, let's go into the game. Oh, look, that's so fancy. Oh. Oh, there's no voice acting, so I guess I'ma do it. I woke in my desk chair. Ooh. Across from me were his piercing amber eyes. They surprised me at first, but I should have known he'd be there. That fucker. I stretched and said mid-yawn. Not very nice to sneak into a sleeping woman's apartment. Oh yeah, we play as a woman, guys. But his stare just continued. Berg slug. If he does... Someone explain what Bergs means for anyone who doesn't understand. By the way, it's Bomb's idea. This is not an actual like word. It is all Bomb. Anyway. I laughed at his glare. I'd seen San Francisco's shrewd thugs, hardened cops, and deadly politicians, but none could ever match that gaze. Well, I knew I didn't have what he wanted. Reaching into my coat, I took out my knife and flicked it open. Knife. Ooh, this is a cool choice. Let's do this. I gave him the knife, sliding it across the desk. Look, I said. That's all there is. Take it or leave it. But a detective knows when she's beat. And I knew then he wanted to search the place. And that's what he would do. I sighed, knowing my weakness for his type. Huh? Girl? All right, I said. Let's look. He let out a gleeful meow in victory. I picked up the knife and cut a piece of my apple that the cat had rejected. Oh, okay. I understand now. It's not an actual person. Always the sore winner, I jabbed. But I was smiling too, because I was telling the truth. There was absolutely no other food in my apartment. Oh, it was a cat. Thought it was a person. The cat often dropped by to scavenge. He made a lot of noise when he thought I was holding out on him. But right now the place was clean empty. No food anywhere. I had to prove it to him. Ooh. Ooh, notes. What is this? Can y'all see it? Oh, I'm covering it. Case summary. There were no cases just then, but the cat was mewing. I needed attention. I had to contradict the cat by first talking to him, then pointing to the evidence in my notebook that proved the apartment was empty of food. Show the cat there's no food. That's the goal. That's my camera's covering. Okay. I had taken copies of old murder cases from the SFPD records when I had left. I loved reading through them, even though my own contributions were minimal. At that time, I longed for those types of jobs, but the truth was, any work was hard to find for a female detective. Nice. This jazz music is really good. That lamp had belonged to my Uncle Louis. He'd been an SFPD officer, one who argued policewomen could be good. What? One who argued policewomen could be good detectives, even while the others jeered at me. I knew he'd been right, but my current workload didn't help that claim. I thought about Louis more often than I wanted. I was lousy at handling the emotions behind these thoughts. Okay, this is not some nice flavor. Packed cigarettes were the latest trend, but I still preferred to roll my own. The ashtray was evidence that it was a practice skill. I suppose I had a lot of free time back then. I kept a small statue underneath the side table. It had been police evidence in a crime, and its owner hadn't wanted it back. I took a shine to it, so I snagged it for myself on the way out of the department. This is a reference to the movie Maltese Falcon. Just to geek out to everyone. That is a reference to Maltese Falcon. A newspaper was flopped on the floor. Its headline read about the death of Lenin, leader of the Red Menace, sweeping Russia. Oh my god, that's how long it was? It seemed like Bolsheviks had lost their head. My old notebook, now filled to the brim. I wrote everything down, even the minor details. Never know it can be useful. The first half had my old cases, details from the beats I used to walk in my policewoman days. Of course, policewomen were forbidden from going on patrol, but Louis often overlooked that rule. Aw, Uncle Louis was nice. Sounded nice. The regular white icebox, tinged yellow with age, half blocked the kitchen doorway. My income rarely kept much stock in it, and right now it was empty. No worries for the Bergs, Scorpion. I know you're lubing that keyboard. Can you believe this is the time when icebox were still a thing and not refrigerators? The cat had waltzed into my apartment a few years earlier. He kept coming back, though there was rarely a morsel to eat. He'd continue his loud meowing until I proved to him that place was empty of food. It doesn't matter how doe-eyed you are, cutie pie. We've got no food around, I told him. Oh, you tried, Pat, but it's not that. It's more simple. So, okay, I'll tell you right now. It's Bergs, iceberg, ice, ice lang, ayos lang. So when you say Bergs, ayos lang. Anyway, he licked his chops and looked at me. Apparently, he still didn't believe that. I needed to contradict him somehow, but to show him something in the apartment that would prove it was empty of food. What? Yeah, you got iceberg right. Icebox. Oh, this is cool. So I have to present evidence. I like this tutorial. I'm showing a cat that my icebox is empty. The regular white icebox tinged yellow. Okay. I opened the icebox so the cat could see inside. Empty, I told him. The cat looked quizzingly at the open door and then back at me. Sorry, fella. There's no grub in here for me either. He stared at me with eyes as disappointed as I felt. Those big yellows always got to my soul. Thoughts of my family filled my head. Oh, nagsenti. My sister Muriel had sent a letter with an update of her life in Chicago. Wait, where is this? Oh, it's in San Francisco. She and her husband had just purchased a new home outside the bluster of the city. Their 3 young children were looking forward to the move. I never told Muriel, but those letters kept me going. Hearing about my family however remote, helped me cope with the isolation I was feeling. I'd refused to accept myself back then, but perhaps Muriel had known anyway. My sister had the ordinary lifestyle that I had rejected. I wanted to change the world, to bring justice for victims, especially the ones who no longer had a voice. Nice. Not that I was helping advance that cause, which with the types of cases coming my way. My mind spiraled into the usual series of questions. Had I even impacted the women's movement? Oh. Had I made any change on society at all? Was my plodding career worth losing traditional happiness? Oh, that's great. They're pointing out the fact that, wait, when did the suffragette movement start? What was the point in the laugh that I had chosen? A loud meow. Oh my god, the animation's so cute. The loud meow from the cat snapped my thoughts back into the moment. I took a deep breath and grinned back at him. Guess you can scram now, I said. Nobody's gonna come knocking with food for you, fella. Way before the... Really? I thought it was around the 1920s. Because women started to vote like around 1930s? 40s? If I'm not mistaken. There immediately came a banging on the front door. Beyond a nuisance, this cat was a psychic too. You order out? I asked him. Funny. Oh, okay, this game is cool. In the doorway was the regrettably familiar face of Connor Green. I looked past him, peering left to right into the hallway. I heard the woman's heels marching down the carpeted stairs, but otherwise the building was silent and empty. Evidently, Green had come alone. Right? The art style is really good. It's very, how do you describe this art style? It's like the 60s, right? 1903. Oh. 1903 is the first time women got to vote in America? He stared at me through the doorway with a coy smile. Well, ain't you gonna invite me inside? I started closing the door, but he stuck out a foot to stop me. Hey now, he chided. Far away to treat a customer, Malone. Oh, that's my name? That's where the suffragette formed. Oh, okay. So when did women get to vote? Wow. No. Both, I guess. It's fine. You're fine. You're good. I love the... Look, can you hear the snapping, guys? It's so cute. So that was his angle. Hiring me as a detective. I wondered what a bootlegger would need with a private eye, but he answered without a prompt. I'll make this quick. I can't take this to the hog house or the pigs would laugh me out. And other dicks aren't just as tempting. And other dicks just aren't as tempting. Were they sure about this line? His grin widened. Thought this was gonna be quick, I said, and I started rolling a cigarette. It wasn't quick, and I already rolled and lighted a second smoke when Green finally finished his story. I noted important bits in my book. Whoa, that is so cool. That's so simple but so elegant. It had started with a letter, slipped under his door in a white envelope. The envelope contained a single typewritten leaf, which he had handed to me. You good, Pat? No worries. I feel like Mokona's probably clipping that. It read, "End your game or we'll end you." It had no signature. Instead, ending with only a small scribble on the bottom right corner that resembled a black hand. Green had a lead on a new rum-running scheme, a connection from Vancouver. He'd given a sample to Tiny Paul, the gangster who ran the Tin Spoon Speakeasy for mob boss Jerry Ferry. They'd agreed to buy in for more. Green surmised that the letter was about his rum-running. He suspected Redstone Table, another bootlegger, of sending the letter. He told me that stable ran a barber shop during the day and gave me the address. Oh, you missed it? I guess no one can clip it now. Eh. Green needed to know who the threat was from. He'd get Paul's gang to deal with them and continue his scheme to get rich. If I go snooping myself, he concluded, folks see I'm not trusting people. No trust leads to no customers. I need to play it low key, which is where you come in. I raised an eyebrow and stared at him through the cigarette smoke. Something in his yawn was still twisted. No, it's okay, Pat. No, it's okay. Actually, anyone can clip. It doesn't have to be a mod. You know, anyone who finds something funny, they can clip it. I can always clip it later, don't worry. If I remember to. He must have noticed my reticence. Because he said, you know, I work closely with Lewis. Ah, using the uncle? I'm sure he'd want to protect me as much as any other victim. Oh? My uncle. My uncle! My uncle! Ooh, I like this one. My uncle. I was still searching for answers after his death. He'd been a man obsessed with helping victims and bringing justice to those beyond salvation. With that ethos, I never understood how he could have taken his own life. Oh shit! Those thoughts haunted me. I'd quit the SFPD and started my own practice, taking his philosophy. Was Green worth my time? Would he be worth Lewis's? I love the writing. It's very much like a noir story. The way she's narrating everything. Green had tipped off my uncle in a few cases. I wonder if that was enough to warrant my protection. Before I could think past my headache, he threw another bill in my lap. Keep the C note as a retainer, and don't worry about getting in touch. I'll find you later for a chat. Nako? Delix. He turned down the hallway and I let him go. If he was willing to give me $100 with no commitment, I wouldn't stop him. Oh my gosh, he gave you $100. Very Delix. I turned back to the apartment, still confused about the whole story. My headache wasn't helping either. Whenever I lacked clarity, a trip to the Southern Coffee was usually the cure. I mean, Kona, come on, $100? How much that with inflation? Because it's like 100 years already. How much is that $100? I'd mounted a gold plate on the outside that read PC Malone, Private Investigator. I think from reading the Steam page, her name is Phyllis Malone, if I'm not mistaken. I really love the transitions. There was only one place I needed to go to clear my head. Southern Coffee was a basement dive. It wasn't modern, hip, or ever busy. And it was my favorite place to down some paint, especially in the company of the best bartender in the city. Water Malone. J Malone. J Malone. Watermelon sugar. Hi. Ooh, that's cool. Ooh, I love these. That's so smooth. I hailed the driver, gave him the address, and stepped through the back door. I debated with talking with the driver. Let's not talk. We're introverted. I peered out the window until we arrived. Southern Coffee was an automat diner. Ethel Burgess, the lone waitress, was friendly to help with any inquiry. Of course, if you winked at her right, she'd show the way to the downstairs toilet, where Frankie played bathroom attendant. Southern Coffee was the distinct feeling of home. The familiar smell of mold in that old basement was enough to put a grin on my face. Hey, Justine. Welcome in. Oh. And hello, Mark. I don't know if I said hi to you already. How are you guys doing? How are you, Mark? How are you, Justine? Do I just click on everything? Now I want to click on everything. Frankie had a bond with that old shaker at the end of the bar, but I was surprised I hadn't named it. He could sling a mean drink, though he'd only use a good liquor if he liked you. Frankie liked me. Frankie kept a collection of pre-prohibition bottles on the shelf behind the counter. Their shapes and colors were far more alluring than the opaque jugs of modern swill. This bottle showed a California bear with the words Bohemian typed in block letters underneath. I doubted that bear had ever heard of Bohemia, but he did look carefree. I know, right, Kona? The writing, very suggestive. The cash register. Once I'd asked Frankie to lend me some cash from that register. He growled so fierce that I decided to not ask again. I didn't think his employers would notice before I got it back, but maybe he just wanted to save me from myself. What's wrong with you, lady? This label had a poem on it. Fill full your cups, feel no distress, at all our great thoughts shrinking less. We all do a good deed nevertheless. Nice. This label showed a rearing horse in the front of the forest. I had no idea how the horse related to California's most genuine bourbon whiskey, though I suppose I did stare at the picture long enough to whet my appetite for the bottle's contents. I'm gonna spell wet that way from now on. No worries, Justine. Oh, you just woke up? Oh my god. You wake up at 10 p.m.? What? I grabbed a wine bottle on the bar and examined its label. It featured a picture of grapes and words, sacramental use only. Frankie looked at me with a spark in his eye. Go ahead, give it a swig. Ooh, do we drink it? We drink it. Are you wet from the rain? More like I'm wet like the thing that they use to make beer. I grabbed a half-empty glass that had been next to the bottle and swirled some of its contents between my gums. Oh, a bit spicy, ain't it? Ooh, spicy. Ooh, let's say it's good. No worries, Mark, if you're lurky. The music's really good. Yeah, always drink, of course. It's good, I nodded and gulped the rest down. It'll cost you too, he said with a smile, and he grabbed the bottle from me, turning it through his hands. Rabbis charge more than a nickel for this beauty. Only this type of Napa wine is made from that Zinfandel grape. It has a unique aroma. I'd been drinking to learn more about that wine. Seemed everyone knew their stuff about but me. I noted that what Frankie had said about the origin of the grape as he sat the bottle back on the bar. Since when do you know grapes? I chided. Frankie let out a bellied laugh. Some of these grapes are older than you, Malone. Now I've known about them since I was a small tot. It's why I'm good at my job, you know. Frankie sighed. Too bad more folks can't taste them. That woman's league is the devil. Oh, let's ask about that. The Women's Christian Temperance Union was now under feminist Frances Willard, a positive force for the suffrage of women, as I was saying earlier. But her staunch support of the prohibition, along with the union's massive political clout, irked the very wet San Franciscan public. And she particularly wasn't popular with bartenders, because she's pro-prohibition. Okay. Take a seat, he said. I'll make you something else. Ooh, I like this one. He was a fantastic orator, but knew when to be a good ear too. For my money, there hasn't ever been, nor will there ever be a more loyal barman. Okay, it's kind of hard to read because it's red. I'll be honest, it's the red that's making it hard to read. I sat at the bar. You got the spooks, PC? Oh, he calls me PC. He asked. You're worn as a catcher's mitt. I suppose my exhaustion showed. I won $100 for nothing, and I can't let it go. I told Frankie about the case, the threatening letters sent to Connor Green, how he assumed it was related to the bootlegging, and his suspicion of the Redstone table. The story took longer than I wanted, Frankie showing genuine interest by masking many questions. When I finished, he threw me the whiskey sour he'd been stirring. I took a large gulp and gave a sigh as thanks. Well, Green's case is better than most of what you're given, he said, with some enthusiasm. At least it's not more of the adultery bunk. He has a point there. Sure, I replied. But I started with a goal in mind. What's the point in helping a man like Green? Frankie clicked his tongue on his teeth. Lawyer or priest, why does it matter? Let me ask you, are the clients you have now the types you want to help? Oh shit. I admitted they weren't. I told him that I wanted more from my detective life. It could be the Greens case shoots your career forward, Malone. I sighed and stared down at my drink. Ooh. But my daze was interrupted by the basement door opening and then slamming shut. A small, blustering woman began marching towards me. She was wearing a light blue cloche hat with a gray ribbon tilted back on her head. Oh my gosh. The transition from red to blue is so jarring. It hurts my eyes. The scarf of the similar blue draped around her neck, but I was startled by what she wore under it. A gray trench coat that looked too large for her frame. It was exactly like the one that had belonged to Lewis. Ah! Dun, dun, dun! She hurled insults at me a while. All I could do was sit and take it until she ran out of gas and started breathing heavily. By the way, Lewis, for anyone who just came in, Lewis is the main character's uncle, who killed himself apparently, because he was like he was the head of the SFPD, the San Francisco Police. I set my drink on the bar and looked her in the eyes. I studied her features more thoroughly. It was plain she was a knockout, now that she'd finished shrieking. Beyond the latest blush and lipstick, she had a natural soft skin and bright eyes perpetually desired by the opposite sex. Okay, let's be honest. I'm playing a woman, but it's clear that a guy wrote this. While I was eyeing her, she caught her breath and restarted her tirade. I'm the wife of that bum who sneaks into your bed. Oh! I just gaped. As far as I'd known, nobody had ever snuck into my bed, especially not recently. After launching into another poetic stanza, she ended with, "And he just left your sty this morning." And that was when I gathered she was Connor Green's wife. Oh! Your throat hurt today? That's nice, Akaru. Right, Bukona? It was clear. I mean, the title did say Ben Wander presents A Case of Distrust, so a dude did wrote this. Because if a woman wrote this, the description of another woman won't be like that. Mrs. Green, I'm a private investigator, not a homewrecker. And I don't think your husband is in his line of business would want to bed a dick anyhow. That sounded like two euphemisms in one. But 1920s would be apt. But I'm playing a woman, Jer. That's the thing. Another woman won't describe another woman like that. That's the thing. Ask Mokona. Ask Justine. Ask Pat. The other women here. Her look was pure incredulity. A woman in that line of work? She questioned. I don't believe it. Oh. Can I prove it? Let's see. Hey, Mega. Welcome in. What evidence do I have? Because he paid me money, so I kind of look like a... Probably, Jer. Probably. Maybe. Oh my god, did you just say Omega's tasty? You're bonking Akaro this early? Wait. What proof do I have to show her? I don't think I have. Huh. No limit. Omega. What the heck? How's it going, Omega? How's your day? Uh, I don't think I have anything that proves that I'm not... Wait. Maybe... No. Because I have to prove that I'm a... private investigator, right? That's what she wanted to hear. Maybe if I show my notebook? Let's see. I opened my notebook and flipped through its pages. You see, Mrs. Green, this is what I do. There's not much more I can show you to prove it. Clearly. It still took more coaxing for her to believe me. Oh, I wonder if I showed something else that didn't work. Would the game just move on? But eventually she came around. She seemed grateful I'd explained it to her. Apparently she had seen her husband leave my apartment. And he gave me money, so it does look sus. And distraught, she had followed me all the way to Frankie's basement and decided to confront me. Oh, that's... What did you get from McDonald's, Akaru? That sounds delicious. I suppose I lost my head after what I thought I'd seen, she said. And she began to cry. Hold on, we're still... She's wearing my uncle's coat. Why hasn't Malone brought this up? I suppose I lost my head after what I thought I'd seen, she said, and she began to cry. Frankie, ever chivalrous to a dimpled girl, came around the bar and held her up. Huh? Frankie? Now that's alright, Mrs. Green. Why don't I hail you a cab and send you back home? She agreed, and they walked together up the stairs. Oh my god, that sounds so delicious, Akaru. When Frankie returned, I said to him, You turned night real quick. He snorted a laugh. Aw, hell. We can't have that... Excuse me? We can't have that siren in here. With a torture yelling like that, every street bugger would have come to her rescue. He has a point. Mrs. Green is a torch singer? What does that mean? Well, I learned she was Mrs. Connor Green just now when she came in here. I only seen her as Little Fanny, singing lead for the jazz band at the Tin Spoon. Oh, okay, I guess that's what torch singer means. Torch, does it mean like spotlight? Because like, you know how torch means flashlight. Anyway, the Tin Spoon, I said. Tiny Paul's joint. That's where Green is selling his liquor. Say, you think that's where she met her husband? I laughed. You're the real sleuth, Frankie. He made a sarcastic bow. I shook my head. You're telling me you escorted our little torturer out just to avoid a bit of hot water. Frankie flushed and said, What are you talking about, Malone? I was never good with emotions, but it was plain that Frankie had instantly fallen for the girl. Sorry, I had to roll my eyes. So what if I had more to squeeze out of her, I asked. What more could you possibly want from little Fanny? She can't have anything to do with Green's mess. I know! Where's that? Mrs. Green's gray coat! Did you notice her clothes? That gray trench, maybe, I posed to him. It looked a bit large on her, don't you think? I thought she looked lovely, he said. That trench, I continued, belonged to Lewis. By the way, Lewis is my uncle who died because he killed himself. And he used to be the head of the San Francisco Police Department. Frankie's eyes widened. So that scumbag Green might actually have been close to your uncle, he exclaimed. Or she might have. Either way, it's not a total bunk. I stood up from the bar stool. What had just happened was quite the ruckus, and seemed like my cue to move along. Ooh. The worn stairs led to the outside world. I was heading upstairs when Frankie called after me. So what are you going to do? I've been thinking about little Fanny. Okay, why did you name the girl Fanny? I suppose even mobsters had people who cared about them, and she'd been wearing Lewis's old jacket. So perhaps Green and Lewis had been closer than I had realized. I guess I'll take Connor Green's bait. I replied. I've got nothing better on the stove and he might need the help. Something still stinks though. Well, what's your plan? Frankie asked. The way I see it, I have 3 goals right now. Green hired me for a job. Find the guy who wrote the letter. That's the basic part. But you want more? Asked Frankie. I nodded. Green's a shady character. I have to learn about him. Who is this guy? Dig in his past. I can't go back to him blind. And then there's something about this bootlegging. How'd Green get a connection like that? What's his source exactly? Squeezing that lemon might give me more juice. Oh, I love that. You know how like noir movies or like noir stories always has this very colorful metaphor or like simile of something. That sounds alright, he replied. So where is it you're off to? I've got 3 leads. That bootlegger's stable, who Green claims sent him the letter. The Tin Spoon Lounge, where I might learn about Green's rum running screams. And Mrs. Green, who could give me more dirt on her husband. Frankie nodded his approval. Well, if you're ever stuck, come back and see me. You can never solve anything without talking it over. Is that a hint? I smiled and went up the stairs. You know. Oh, so it's not a linear game. I thought it was gonna be linear. Let's go to Green's house first. Let's talk to the lady. Green's house might contain more clues about his past, or some reason a threatened letter would come his way. And if I got lucky, Mrs. Green would be there to pump with more questions. Wait. Okay. Oh, listen to that drum beat, guys. It's so funky. Okay, this game is really cool with the art and the aesthetic. I stepped into the taxi and rocked into the comfortable position at the back seat. I thought about starting a chat with the driver. Let's talk to this driver this time. I glanced towards the driver and noticed the right side of his face was covered with a tin plate, painted to match his light skin tone. Set in the plate was a glass eye. Oh, don't ask. Oh, by the way, if you don't know this reference, guys, apparently, after World War I, if people got disfigured, they usually wear like a metal or a wooden mask to hide their disfigurement. So that's basically what this is. So let's not ask him about it. I didn't want to bring up his disfigurement. We exchanged a few pleasantries and I was silent in the back seat until we reached my destination. The Greens' apartment was a section of an old Western Addition mansion. The owners had divided it for struggling families to rent after the 1906 fire. Oh yeah. Once downtown had been rebuilt, more people of means moved out of the area. Recent immigrants, mainly from Japan, rented most of the apartments in this part of town. I knocked on the door but didn't get a response. The latch was undone, so I pushed it open and stepped into the room. The room reeked of laudanum. Based on the smell, I imagined she'd had enough opium to knock out a horse. Well, let's not talk to her yet. Let's look around. A wilting plant was on the furthest table from the door. I could never keep plants alive either. Even as the petals fell, they were still a vibrant yellow. The gray trench coat was hanging on the doorway. It certainly looked identical to Lewis's. I searched the pockets and found no identifying marks. It might have been a different jacket, but its recent appearance was off-putting. The bottles on top of the round table were mostly empty. I opened the drawer of the back... I just go in and open drawers, I guess. I opened the drawer of the backmost table. In it were 2 train tickets. I mumbled, "St. Louis," to myself, but then came to the cackling voice of Mrs. Green. "Ha! Forget about moving, Connor. It won't budge." Her head was raised, but her eyelids still remained closed. Let's not ask her yet. The ashtray on top of the smallest table was overflowing with spent cigarettes. Empty bottles were strewn around the apartment. I brought one to my nose and smelled the distinct aroma of laudanum. Opium mixed with booze. A harsh tonic. Did people really do that? Did they really mix opium and booze? What the heck? Sounds dangerous. I asked her further questions, but her head just lolled back to where it had been. There was nothing else she'd say. I found Mrs. Green slumped in her chair, eyes closed, head rocking slowly. Oh, she's drunk? Oh no, she's high. And drunk. Hello, Mrs. Green, I said loudly. She let out a long moan from the chair, then lifted her head, but failed to raise her eyelids. She tilted her head to the side, giggled, and then let it loll back into place. I shook her slightly, and she moaned again, but said nothing more. Now what? I can't do anything? So... Wait. Does that mean I have to give her something? Huh. I like that you're still... Bergs. Gonna do this. Oh! Berg! Berg! Just kidding. Okay. The frame was just warped enough to prevent the front door from completely closed. I don't have anything else to do, right? There's nothing else. She's high and drunk, so I can't do anything. Let's just leave then. I spent that taxi just to get here. Okay, let's go to the lounge. Yeah, let's go to the lounge first before the barber shop. The Tin Spoon Lounge was a speakeasy in North Beach run by Tiny Paw, the gangster that Green had put in with. I'd never been there. The mob keeps a tight lip on their own houses, but I figured it would be a good place to chase Green's bootlegging story. I gave my address and slouched in the back seat of the taxi cab. I thought a good way to pass the journey was to chat with the driver. The driver began talking about baseball. You know, he started, my bet is that the Seals could play in the majors. His voice had a high pitch and was just nasally enough to be irritating. Oh. True now. He droned about the Seals for what felt like an eternity. My eyes glazed over I was nearly asleep when he finally shouted, we're here! Oh, I love the transition so much. I aspire to draw like this type of art deco shit, but I'm very lazy. Hey, the Rascal, welcome in. How are you? Shout out to the Rascal. I opened the cab door in front of the North Beach warehouse with a wooden sign. The sign's text was too worn for me to decipher any of its English, but a small gray spoon was still visible below the letters. Yeah. Oh my god. That was such a burp. I rapped my knuckles twice over the large metal door. A panel just above my head slid sideways to reveal a pair of eyes. Yes, I'm a detective. Buchok grabe. Well, I did have sinigang. It gave you eargasm? Oh. You laughed. Okay. Nice. The eyes looked at me up and down, then just stared ahead. They were black and held no emotion. The room beyond was dimly lit, so I couldn't see much of their surrounding face. Oh. I cleared my throat. Then a rumbling voice emerged from behind the door. Phil, oh god, it's the wine that we saw earlier. Fill full your cups, feel no distress, at all your great thoughts shrinking less. I looked at the eyes, still unmoving. I understood. The doorman wanted a password. I thought I might have something that could in my notes that could help. I know, because I saw it earlier. Oh my gosh. Good thing I was looking around. Imagine if I didn't. This one. We'll do a good deed nevertheless, I recited, and what I'd remembered from one of Fanky's bottles. The eyes squinted. Wait here. Oh, wait here. came a gruff response. He said gruff, so I had to do gruff. The panel slid shut and heard footsteps walking away. I love that there's also sound effects. It's so immersive. I rolled a cigarette and waited. After a quarter of an hour... 15 minutes? That's a long time to wait, Malone. The panel opened again. Bar's closed, but you can shoot pool in the upstairs room, said the eyes. He pulled the door ajar so I could see the rest of the metal stairs. I walked up the stairs and opened the thin wooden door to the billiards room. It was much smaller than I expected for a gangster's paradise. Isn't that a song? Isn't Gangster's Paradise a song? The only light came from the hanging lamps above the billiards table. The haze of the cigarette smoke darkened the room's corners. The room was lit only by dangling lamps above the billiards table. The rack on the wall had 5 cues. Look at my rack. A couple tall chairs were placed around the billiards table. The pool table was the focus of the space. The light reflecting from its smooth green surface tinted the den. A bottle of unlabeled wine sat on the table. When I sniffed, it smelled of strong spice. A clean ashtray sat next to an emptied glass on the table in the corner. Ooh. I saw a tall, broad-shouldered man playing at the table by himself. Based on Frankie's description, I gathered this was Tiny Paul. Does he look tiny? Does it look tiny? Okay, I hope we can ask him what's tiny. Why tiny? I mean, why tiny, not what's tiny. I cleared my throat to get him to look at me, then followed with a casual, "Are you ever gonna take a shot?" He stood up straight, rested his cue on the table, and looked at me sideways. It was the petulant look of a boy forced to play with his younger sibling. "Hello?" he sighed. Oh. His voice was deep. Oh. Apparently, Ferry only had baritones, but had no gravel. It echoed slightly around the small room. I imagine he could have huffed and puffed the entire block to rubble. "I like watching them," he said, nodding to the balls on the table, "thinking through my options." I'd never shot much pool, but I thought he might like me more if I feigned interest. I considered lying to him, telling him that I played a lot. "I'll stick to cards." I didn't lie to him just then. "Stud, blackjack, or bridge?" He asked hoarsely. I raised an eyebrow and he showed a sheepish grin. "A gambler plays them all," he continued after cackling his knuckles. "But I don't think you're here for a game." I asked about green. "How's the gamble on that wine?" "Oh, that's the rum that we... So it's a wine bottle, but they're like shipping rum. That's the thing. That's why when Malone smelled the bottle, it smelled like spice, even though it was a wine bottle." He grunted. "Green's setting it up. Where the muscle? What more is there?" "You like green?" I asked. The wrinkles on his brow deepened. "Like or dislike, it doesn't matter sometimes. I work with all I'm given, and he's giving us a good lean. I suppose that's why you're here, Malone." So he'd known me too. The doorman must have looked me up. The Bay talks fast. Oh. So that's why it took him 15 minutes just to open the door. "Anyhow," he said, eyeing the billiards table, "you need anything else from me? If you want something, better ask specific. Mobsters never failed to grate my nerves. He wouldn't tell me anything unless I pushed him with what I already knew." Let's ask him. Can I ask him literally about this? Oh, actually, apparently. Okay, this game is kind of cool now, because you can ask them about anything. "So you're giving Green the dough?" I asked. "That's right. We gave him the cash to get the supply going. You already gave him the money? Aren't you afraid he's going to run out on you? Tiny Paul frowned. I suppose you know less than I thought. Well, let's just set it to you straight. That kid's right under my thumb. No way he'd get out of town alive before setting up our sauce. He turned his gaze back into the pool table. Anything else? Does he... Oh. Find the source of Green's... Oh, no. Letter. He probably doesn't know about that. Okay, let's ask about Green. Know anything about Green's past? He's a local kid, I think. Been around the lounge a while. Boss knows him better than I do. Okay. That didn't help. Let's ask about this. Green had a lead on a new running scheme. Yeah, this one. I asked more about the bootlegging, but all that got me was a frown. Paul refused to give me any new leads on that front. Okay. Okay, bitch. This guy's... I don't know. So I can't ask about statements that he already made. And he won't talk about the bootlegging scheme. Oh, here. He can't... Know anything about the Redstone table? I asked. Heard the name, he replied. But why all the gossip? He could tell you more about him himself. You won't give me anything on him? No, why would I do that? Anything else? Fuck. What else do we ask? Let's ask about the poem. We'll do a good deed, nevertheless, I repeated to Paul. Why make an old liquor slogan your password? Paul smiled. An old liquor slogan? That's rich, and I thought you dicks were supposed to be learning. I raised a questioning brow. It's called The Drinking Song. Shit, I saw Dirty. A poem by Thomas Hardy. Tom Hardy? An old Brit. Bane! I asked more about the poem. It's all about the man. Oh, it's all about the man thinking we're on top of the chain, and slowly understanding we aren't. All our thoughts, all our theories, amount to nothing. We're just apes floating in the wide ocean of space. Oh, that's deep, guys. Note that down, guys. People G, People G, People G. We're all just apes floating in the wide ocean of space. How can you possibly cope with that? How do we even know what we are now? But to hell with it. Take your mind off it, have a drink, and do something good. Not a bad code if you ask me. I tilted my head, neither agreeing nor disagreeing, but simply impressed by Paul's knowledge of Victorian poetry. Alright, that's enough of a lesson. Is there anything else you wanted, or can I get back to this? I have more questions, hold on! Let's ask about the wine bottle. That bottle on the table, I asked. He said, that's the stuff, a sample from Green's source. I know some Napa wine that smells exactly like it. Oh! The Napa wine that I drank earlier. That's so. Well, that one's from Vancouver. I had to work every muscle in my face to stop my jaw from hitting on the floor. Where's the wine from, Paul? I asked him again. It's from Vancouver, he repeated. Frankie told me the only Napa grapes had this type of spice. If Paul didn't know this bottle was local, I wasn't going to tell him. He doesn't know. Oh, hey, Psycho, welcome in. How are you doing? I'm apparently a lady detective from the 1920s solving a case. Hope your day's going well. But it told me something very important. I had to confirm with Frankie. But if my hunch was on the money, then Connor Green was not getting his wine from Canada. And he wasn't playing square with Tiny Paul. That makes sense. So that must mean that Connor Green told Tiny Paul here that the wine was from Canada, when in fact the wine was brewed here in California. So why would he lie to Tiny Paul? Dun dun dun! Can we ask about this? Oh, let's ask. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to ask. Shit. Your weekend. Oh, so your weekend is like Tuesdays and Tuesdays and Wednesdays? Nice. Um, I don't think we can ask about that. How about this? Never mind. Okay, not that, I guess. What else can we ask? Oh, Green's letter? Can we ask about that? Know anything about this note? I asked, and pulled the letter with the black hand on it. Tiny Paul looked at the page and laughed with his whole body. So there is a letter. Green's shaken over that. I'm not losing sleep, though. Look, Green and I aren't the best pals, but nobody will touch him with our protection, and none of us sent it to him. Or else I would have known about it. Okay. Nice to know. What else can we ask? Can we ask about the dangling lamps? Okay, I think that's it. I didn't have anything else to say to him, so he cracked his knuckles, arched over the table, and resumed lining up shots. Okay, let's go to the other place. The barber shop. Green had suspected Redstone Stable of sending him that letter. Apparently, Stable owned a barber shop in the financial district. I figured there would be no harm in asking Stable about it directly. I waved the taxi cab when I was on my way. No, let's not talk to the driver this time. I kind of don't want to talk to a driver this time. I wonder if that changes things, or is that just flavor text? The barber shop was down an alley in the financial district opposite the red brick National Bank. Oh, that was so loud in my ears. The small bell above the door twinkled as I walked in. The hat rack was a deep mahogany, engraved with gold lettering that read Fraser & Co. Furnishings. Mahogany! The maroon leather chair looked comfortable. It seemed elaborate for a barber shop waiting chair. The two sides of a mirror's frame were cylindrical, painted blue, red, and white to look like a barber's poles. They clashed with the otherwise elegant furnishings. Do you guys know the history of why barbers' poles are like blue, red, and white and swirling about? Spiraling. The frame on the back wall contained a yellow photograph of an old man. He had an authentic smile and held scissors in his left hand. Stable's cabinet was similar to my own. But where mine was a dull gray metal, his was a deep red wood that looked heavy. The modern hydraulic barber chair had always seemed ostentatious to me, but this one, with its soft brown cushions and gold embroidery, was the most ornate I have ever seen. Wow. So apparently, okay, someone fact check because I might remember this wrong. But apparently, they were supposed to indicate like something about bloodletting. That's why there's like a red spiral. Like it used to be like just a blue spiral spinning around. And apparently if you see like a red spiral, it meant something about bloodletting or something like that. Look at me mistaking the trivia, but eventually it turned into a barber's pole because it usually have stuff like that usually happen in barber shops. We'll Google it later. There was a tall man in the center of the room. He was wearing a flamboyant pink suit, tailored to accentuate his stature, with a maroon bow tie and a pocket square. I gathered this was Redstone Table. Oh, that's his name? Redstone Table? Oh, by the way, guys, if there's a delay, Just refresh the stream. Because internet's going in and out. The man turned to face me. He grinned, and his squinting blue eyes made the smile feel genuine. I must apologize, he said. We do not take walk-ins. I studied his face. The wrinkles around his eyes indicated that he was at least 40, but the rest of his skin was clean and smooth. He wore no hat and shaved his head completely bald. When combined with his smooth skin, it hinted at the look of a small turtle. Oh my god, Malone, did you just compare this dude to a turtle? His pink suit and maroon accessories only added to his eccentricity. He smiled and said, How foolish of me. Of course, you are here for information, Miss Malone. I asked how he'd known my name. He hissed a few times and said, That is a dull retort. You know you are not a standard detective. Please do not act mundane as all the other sleuths. He sighed and put a smile back onto his face. Yet perhaps you are here on a matter of interest. What is it you want? Green claims you bootleg, I stated bluntly. His grin didn't waver in his response. Would you hang me on Colonel Green's claims? I may partake in some gambling, but I may have a talent for it, but that is nothing illegal, I assure you. And you know nothing about Green's own bootlegging? I asked. Stable shook his head. I doubted he would ever answer a question straight. Well, Miss Malone, anything else? Let's ask him about the letter. I pulled Green's note from my pocket and showed it to him. Oh, there's a sound that played, but didn't let him hold it. Green tells me this letter's from you. Huh? He doesn't like the threats. Stable lowered his head to study the note and then chuckled. His knowing grin returned to his face. But this is a Black Hand letter, he said, flourishing a hand towards the paper. Have you ever seen a Black Hand letter, Miss Malone? I confessed I hadn't. Exactly. You should ring your friend Shipman at the station and ask what it means. Sam Shipman had been one of my uncle's regular partners in the vice rackets. I wonder what Shipman could have had to do with Green's case. Stable seemed to think that he had lots to do with it. I pocketed the letter and continued with my questions, but I made a note to stop by the police headquarters to see Shipman. Okay, what else could we ask him? Oh yeah, the picture frame. Who's that in the picture? I pointed to the picture frame on the wall. That the old man? I asked. Stable turned to look at the photograph. No, that is my grandfather, taken near the end of his life. Why'd you hang it in there? This store was formerly owned by my grandfather, he stated with humble beginnings. My Zaid. Zaid? What is that word, guys? Do you guys know that word? My Zadie taught me the meaning of hard work and dedication. I am humbled by reminders of him. Is that Zaddy? Okay, I'm googling it, guys. Hold on. It's right. It's Zaddy. What's Zaid? I googled it. What is it? Oh, okay. Zaid is of Hebrew origin. It means elder. Okay. So it's like when we call like, so it's in their language of lolo, I guess, or like someone an elder. Okay, so he's Jewish. That's what I'm getting. Cuz he used the Hebrew word. What else do we ask? Yeah, that doesn't make sense. Oh, let's ask about the fancy barber chair. Why not give me a cut? I asked. I don't see any clients around, Stable. I'm sorry, Miss Malone. To be completely honest. Oh my god, I'm so gassy today, guys. My gambling and business acumen give me a decent living on their own. The barber shop is just a hobby. I only give haircuts to close friends. Oh, close friends. He has an Instagram. And I can't be a close friend. Yeah, you can just add me on Instagram. Just follow me and add me as a close friend. Stable laughed. But we have only just met, Miss Malone. Perhaps another time. Ooh. So no Instagram. Can I ask about everything? Because that would take too long. Elegant trappings for a barber. Math was never my strong subject, but I can't see a barber making enough for all of this furniture. He smiled. Yes, I have other methods of procuring wealth, but I do not engage in illicit activities, if that's your implication. Oh! Bitch! Didn't implicate everything! Anything, you know? I looked at the cylinders on either side of the mirror. That mirror is a sore thumb. You seem above that sort of camp stable. Perhaps, he agreed. But that mirror also belonged to my Zaid. To my Zaid? I can't resist reading it as Zaddy, guys. And I enjoy any reminders of him. I asked him further questions about his grandfather, but Stable refused to elaborate. Can we ask about this? Yeah, how does he know me? How'd you know my name? I questioned. He smiled again. Apparently, he likes smiling when he's pleased with himself. I mean, doesn't everyone? Barbers hear gossip from around town, Miss Malone. Sometimes that gossip is worth remembering. And what gossip have you heard about little old me? I'm just ad-libbing stuff at this point, guys. Just that the niece of the late San Francisco detective Louis Malone, he knows my uncle, had resigned from her policewoman duties and started a private detection agency. That was months ago, was it not? I confess I've not heard much since. I asked if he had known Louis. Not well enough, he said. I hear he did his job by the letter of the law, and I lost that alphabet years ago. Oh, I like that. Whoever wrote that line is cool. Peppo G that. Let's Peppo G that. Job by the letter of the law, and I lost that alphabet years ago. That's smart. What else can we ask? Can we ask about the hat rack? I nodded again to the elegant furniture in the room, but Stable wasn't ready to admit where his wealth came from. Oh. Okay, so I get now why we're asking about everything around his shop. Cause why would a barber who doesn't even who doesn't even do like barbering? Oh my god, barbering. No, hey Queen Nerd. You're done with your meeting? You know, like how does a barber that only gives friends haircuts have so much money to furnish his whole shop like this? Oh my god, welcome in, Bella. Hello, Bella. How's it going? No, there's no clips, Bella. Have you forgotten that Mondays and Tuesdays we have no clips? By the way, guys, that's why Bella doesn't want to say hi sometimes. Apparently, she's afraid of what clips might come up, so she's not saying hi. Oh, by the way, Bella. Wait, Pat, are you still here, Pat? Apparently, Bella here is a schoolmate of ours in college. She's at different college though. Nothing. Oh, it's Yi is also here. Yes, Pat here is my classmate from college, Porta Pat. Yes, Bella P here is a schoolmate. Yes. Also welcome in, Yi. Welcome, E. Were you already lurking, you two? Huh? I pointed to the baba chair once more, but it seems stable. Oh, shit. Okay, I guess not about that. Always lurking. Aww. He's so happy that clips are off. You know, I can always like Oh, I don't know. It's up to Bella. You can ask her. But I don't know what she's willing to say and what's, you know. Wait. What else do we ask? But she does art streams, Pat. Go follow Bella. Also, Yi also does art streams, so go follow Yi as well. Yes, right? I was telling Bella that too. I mean, materials engineering, like much respect for that. Cause that's a hard course. Especially I had a friend who was like oh, it was Bella P, Kuya Nerd. Bella P here. She doesn't like to say hi sometimes because she's afraid that if we shout her out, a clip of her will play. No, it's okay. It's okay. What's Math 55? What is that subject? Yes, go follow Bella and Yi, guys. They're really fun. Especially Bella. There's a redeem in her channel where for 5 minutes she's not allowed to laugh. And if she laughs, the timer restarts. And that's the most... Look at me telling people how to torture you, Bella. Math 54 is the one that normal people keep failing? Really? Wait, what's Math 55, Bella? What's it called? I actually don't know. Because in fine arts, we're like Math 2. Math 2 and nothing else. Challenge accepted. I don't think Bella accepts the challenge. I have buried it. Okay, I'll check it out then in another day. Wait, is Math 55 like analytical geometry? Or was that Math 54? Or was Math 54 calculus? I don't remember now. Yeah, we weren't required anything above Math 1 and Math 2 in fine arts. I honestly don't know what to ask now. Should I just go? I asked about the letter already. Oh, let's ask about green. Advanced calculus. Oh, that's why you hate it. What do you know about Green's past? I questioned. Only that he constantly skirted the law. Oh, skirted? Wait, you failed it? And then you had to do it again? And then you... Oh. Skirt! Nicki Minaj. No. Wait, was it Nicki Minaj? Or was it Cardi B? Does the skirt? I mean, this is the 20s. And skirt is still a thing. Shit. Which one do I ask now? Okay, he doesn't care about that. I don't think I can ask him about anything else. Yes, I follow Bella on Instagram. I actually shared some of her art the other day because it's really good. I think you saw it in one of my stories, Pat. Yes, you should also follow Pat, Bella, and you know, fellow artist. So she's my classmate from college. When my wife was going to art school here, I tagged along with her. And people were struggling. Really? I'm so sorry. Why did I say really? Pat, did you have trouble during Math 1, Math 2? Okay, not to brag, but I had no problems during Math 1 and Math 2 because they were very basic. Like, not to brag, but I do it in my sleep. I could do them in my sleep. Oh, Bella, I think in my Discord, you're in my Discord, right? Or you can ask, or Pat can say it right here if she wants. In my Discord under art, I pin people's Instagram accounts. So if you want, actually, you can also share your Instagram account there, and then I'll pin it. Oh, wait. Did we have a choice? Like, was it either Math 1 or... Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. It was a choice. And I thought I'll take Math 2 because I wanted the harder one. Because I didn't want Math 1. I remember that. Figured it was art school, so didn't care. Kuya Nerd, I came from a science high school. So math is nothing. Well, math is nothing. But math doesn't affect me as much as other artists. But if you could have seen me and Pat's like batchmates doing math, math is definitely not a thing for artists. I took too many. Aww. It's okay, Bella. I took physics then. What did I take? I forget what I took already. Hey, Savior. How's it going? That makes me think now. I forgot what STS courses I took. I should check. My what do you call that? My stuff is just there. Like, I could just check my grades and shit. What do you mean you again? Why are you doing that to Savior, huh? Secret. No, no, no. There. Yeah, follow each other. Follow each other. Oh my god, Calc 3. Okay, what are they teaching in Calculus 3? The Note Beach Station was SFPD headquarters. Also poetically baptized the Hall of Justice. The building dominated the corner of Kearny and Washington in Chinatown, rebuilt after the 1906 earthquake. I thought it even looked more sour than it had before. This is the third stream. I mean, have you met Omega? if I wasn't dead from my second dose, probably if I went through all of everyone's streams, I would have met Omega at least 3 times, probably. Okay, but okay, Kuya Nerd, will you say that the calculus that you learned, are you still using it now? I strode to the young Bob girl behind the large oak desk. She must have been new because we shared no recognition of one another. I asked for a shipment, and she motioned me to a chair as she pressed the pearl button. I sat down and she disappeared through the frosted door. I rolled another cigarette to pass my time. Between puffs, I thought about the shape of the smoke plumes, letting my mind wander through abstraction. Whenever a thought about the department found its way into my head, I closed my eyes and drifted back to meditation. Most of the FFPD refused to give any thought to the female private detective. I was determined to return their courtesy. Of course not. Oh yeah, obviously. It wasn't long before a shipment walked out the frosted door. You know, calculus, I think, is a very specific math. Like, I actually have a friend. He graduated BS Math, and he was saying that some of the math they were taught, he knows deep inside his soul that he will never use this math in the real world, and the only thing that you could use with that math is to teach it to other people. That's the only goal of this math. Like, he can't think of a real world application for some of the math problems that he was doing, and that the only thing is that the only job that you can take so that you can use that math still is a teaching job, where you can teach the math to someone else. You know? Yes, Bella's here. She's happy because the clips are off. So Samuel Shipman smiled when he saw me. Oh, by the way, Bella, do you know Ibong Adarna? The what do you call that? The publishing? The children's book publishing thing. You can buy one of the books there, and Pat illustrated one of the books. And actually most of our friends, drew some illustrations for some of those books. Yes! Feel free to link it here, Pat. For anyone who wants to buy. What's it called again, Pat? I forgot the book. He was tall and tan, with a clean haircut and polished shoes. He had warm eyes and was generally empathetic to victims and suspects alike, but his appearance belied his ferocity. When the buy the book failed, there weren't many lengths too far from him. He judged officers purely on results, and because of that, he was one of my few fans on the force. Actually, Omega Yi is also here, but he's not talking. And he's also happy that clips are off. Of course, Pat. Actually, I should link it on my art channel in the Discord, not in the general discussion, so that anyone can look for it. I did a job interview once for an engineering physics test. It was intense. Thermodynamics, heavy math. Ooh. Hey, see, there you go. Okay, that's not me anymore, Bella. That's not me anymore. If you're gonna blame someone, I'm sorry, Yi, but he's a mod here. I can always take away his sword, but I love the chaos that he brings. He judged officers purely on results, and because of that, he was one of the few fans of the Force. We exchanged brief pleasantries before he said, "Wouldn't come here for a glad handing." He had the habit of removing the subject from his sentences. Oh my god. I'm so gassy. What needs doing? I explained my case to him. He scoffed when I mentioned Connor Green. Working for that pinhead? Got a good mind to run him up a flagpole. I just need to know about this letter. I handed him the note Green had given me and explained its context. I think Omega's a mod in everyone's channel. Bella, you should add Omega as a mod. And then add Scorpion too, so that they can have a mod off. After looking it over, Shipman tried to stifle a laugh. Complete bunk. See this symbol in the corner? Mark of the Black Hand Gang. Except Black Hand letters are always ransom letters, not threats. No foothold on this coast somehow. Never been one in California. That's not the only reason why you added Omega as a mod? Nice. Oh, nako. The humble. Very humble. So the letters are fake? Shipman nodded. Someone's trying to imitate the Black Hand. I grunted a sigh and noted what he'd said. Don't know if Green is getting one over you, or if someone else is putting Green's leg. But having more dirt on the man couldn't hurt, especially if he's your client. I've been trying to dig through his past. You got any bunk on him? No, from Oakland, it's all I know. But I could do some more digging. I thank him for that. Oh god, Yi is here. Yi, Omega, and Scorpion can fight with their emotes. Because all three of them have like so many emotes right now. Under a pile of vice though. Might take me a while. Why don't I telephone when I find something? Oh no. I had no office where I could receive messages, but I dreaded returning to the station. I told him to call Southern Coffee. Just leave anything with Franklin Conway, I instructed. He said that was alright. We traded goodbyes and I went back to the station's entrance. What? Does what count as an animal emote to add to your collection? Oh, cute! Is that Leonardo? Cute. Oh my god, Scorpion has an animal emotes collection? Oh my god, is that how much you've subbed to people now, Scorpion? Now I know that the letter was fake, and Tiny Paul's wine had already shown me that Green's bootlegging scheme was bunk. I just had to wait for Shipman's call at Southern Coffee to get some dirt on Green. I don't know where to go. I guess Southern Coffee? Because I've been to everywhere now. I mean, he has a Mum Mercy sub, so that's already lots of animals. Oh, because of the hype trains. Yeah. I also have a lot because of the hype trains. I waved down a taxi. Oh, never mind. I already did that. Animated. Oh no, look at all those animated. Oh my god, it's all moving. Holy crap. Noah's Ark. But it's all just dogs and cats mostly. Look at all those animated emotes. Well, I was gonna ask him something, right? Ask about Shipman's message. I sat on my regular stool and napped my knuckles on the bar. Any messages for me, Frankie? And what do you mean by that? Well, I told Sam Shipman, an old contact on the force, to leave any dirt with you if he found it. So, now I'm your bartender and your secretary. Say, if I become your housemaid, will you at least pay me? So I'm guessing you haven't heard anything? Nothing yet, Miss Chief. Shipman's supposed to call you about Green. What have you got so far? Well, you'll like this. Remember that wine you offered me? Oh, my Zinfandel, you nearly finished. Where did you say that grape came from? It was from here, California. Napa or Sonoma. You sure? Yes, Malone, that's the only place these grapes grow nowadays. And not Canada? What are you swinging at, Malone? Tiny Paul had a bottle of wine that tasted the exact same. That identical spice. He said it was from Green's bootlegging sauce from Vancouver. Malone, I'm telling you, no wine anywhere else in the world has that spice. It ain't from Vancouver, and Green ain't getting it cheap. Well, you just confirmed my hunch. Green's got no sauce. He must be swindling Tiny Paul and the entire ferry gang. I bet he'll run away with the money. Frankie let out a long whistle in disbelief. Whistle like that, right? Can you guys whistle? Because I know that not everyone whistles, but Kuya Mike the other day was like, is whistling not a thing? And I was like, I don't know. I don't think, anyway. Weird anecdote, just then the phone rang. Frankie picked up with, hello, right, then handed me the receiver. Shim. Oh, you cannot, Pat. You can't also, Bella. Mokona can whistle. Akaru's ass can whistle. Okay. Nice. Can whistle but not good at it. So not everyone here whistles. That's cool to know, honestly. I can, guys, but it's not too good. I can have tones. Probably. I don't know if the mic is picking it up or not. You can whistle, but only a little bit. Explain, Bella. I will ask that when you stream, Bella. I'm gonna go, Bella, whistle! Whistle! Whistle, or I'm gonna redeem no laughing. Susie, can you whistle? Find anything on Green, I ask. Nothing, he said. What's that? What's that, Scorpion? It's a bunny hopping. Cute. Drops call like Peppa Pig. Never could get the couple. Could the people who subconsciously whistle to themselves while doing stuff? I never had. Honestly, I never do that. I never whistle to myself. That's true. I don't know. I don't even remember, like, when I discovered I can whistle. Like, when did I do it? And then I realized, hey, I can whistle. Ah! Have I had anything on Green? Nothing. Then why'd you call? That's the idea. First got pinched for a brawl in the ferry building. That was in November 1920. Before that, no Connor Green anywhere about the bay. Strange. Has trouble staying out of mess. Picked up in something nearly every week. So only appearing only a few years ago, that Oakland backstory is Swiss cheese. Oh yeah, good night Mokona, good night sub na friend. Yeah, cause they were saying in Jer stream earlier, Kuya Nerd, that um I stream at a weird time where like I'm too late for some of the Filipinos, but I'm too early for other people in the world, something like that. So my stream has like shifting where it's like a different people are talking to me at the 9 to 12 timeline, and like different people are talking to me after midnight. Honestly, it is perfect time for you, honestly. Aw, those. Yeah, Omega's sked is even more perfect because he streams twice a day. So no worries, Pat, for the BIB. You can only more stuff here. What are you thinking? Green's got a different past? Uh-huh. Guess that he just got here in 1920 and never been straight about where he's from. Oh, he's not from San Francisco. Wait, if Connor Green was a criminal in another town, easily some cop would recognize the name and send him back home. SPD isn't that thick. Right. If it's the same name, could be his real identity disappeared in another town. Oh! Ooh. You lost Marion. Oh, wait, really? Did Marion change his schedule? Oh, yeah, because I remember he's streaming earlier now. So when Marion streams, it's like around 3 a.m. for you, right? 4 a.m.? You tested out your internet, it's a drastic change. Whoa! Nice. That's good, Omega. Glad that your fiber is better. 4 a.m. Oh. I thought aloud, so he might have changed lives. Is there any way to confirm that? If Green fled, the local bulls would keep looking for him. But now if they thought he died, get these cases sometimes, where mobsters fake a death to escape a burg. Burg! Use a mangled stiff to do it. Someone unrecognizable. That way, they get out of town without a chase. Oh, I also want to check the quality. Yeah. I think, did Omega stream today? I actually don't know, because I was dead the whole day. You could probably check that. Got any mobster deaths from 1920? I asked. A ton. Took too many to look through, but narrowed the search for me at a town he might be from. I could check the specific city's archive. Anything from your notes to tell us where he could be from? Huh. Excuse me. Oh my god, I'm so gassy, guys. I am so gassy. He might be from St. Louis. Yeah, because we saw tickets earlier. I found some tickets to St. Louis in Green's apartment. The missus was ruffled when I picked them up. I stayed on the telephone while Shipman used another line to call his contact at the St. Louis Post Dispatch. I was nursing a glass of gin when he got back to me. Oh my gosh. Okay. Okay, Bella. Oh, he didn't do a cam? Oh my god. St. Louis has a hard S. Oh, St. Louis? Like that? What's a hard S? Okay. So, you're gonna do a cam next time, Omega. Let's see. Yeah, I get it. I'm just making fun of the hard S. Lucky break, PC. Seems there's one of that fits the bill. He read aloud an article from the St. Louis Post Dispatch. Dated October 8, 1920. Hard snake? Yes. Gun battle at June's Diner. Gangster. Dead. Suspect bandit clubhouse scene of another shooting. A heated argument turned deadly Thursday. as multiple shots rang outside June's Dino on 14th Street. These are actual places? That's your newspaper? Cool. Suspected hideout of Egan's rats. A man was found dead at the scene unidentified due to shotgun wounds to his face. Police suspect he is a mobster, Breg the Jester, who had hired a private eye to investigate threats on his life. Last month, Chief of Police Brannon said investigating gangster on gangster deaths was a waste of time, and the discovery of the threats leads to believe police won't look any further into case. Really? Yeah, probably the 14th is like any downtown city. But you know who I wanna see come in is Venus, because she used to live in San Francisco, right? And the setting of this game is in San Francisco. Hold on, I said. This Breg character had hired a private detective. Seems police are quick to forget the case if they got a reason to think it's just gangster violence. This lines up with Green. Gets better. Breg's first name. Why did they name it Breg? What an ugly last name. I'm sorry to any Bregs. Connor. I cursed loudly through the telephone. Fuck. I continued with my theory. And your story says this Breg was deeply indebted. So maybe Green's just waiting in San Francisco until he's got enough dough to skip down and go home. He have some bootlegging business? Why would he leave that behind? No. His wine is complete bunk. It's local stuff, not any Canadian route he might be claiming. Shit! I didn't know why he pulled a fast one until now. Okay, to catch up everyone who just came in or whatever. So, this Connor Green just asked us to investigate a threatening letter that he received. And then what we're finding out is that he even paid us $100 up front. And what we're discovering is that it seems like he's not what he seems to be he is. And his bootlegging business is also a scam. Because he's paying the dude, Tiny Paul, like money. Oh, no. Tiny Paul is giving Green money to get the wine, but Green is saying that the wine is from Vancouver, when in actuality the wine is actually just from California itself. And then he's putting suspicion on Redstone Table, but Redstone Table says that they're not doing bootleg. That is not his illicit affairs, if that's what it means. So, this looks very sus right now. Wow, I would love to visit. I would love to visit Kuya Nerd. I wonder when will that be. Returning Breg to St. Louis could be huge. Swing by the station and we'll iron it all out. I agreed and slapped the receiver on its pegs. Ooh, pegs. I was gonna ask him something. I was gonna ask Frankie something. So what's the news on Green? Green isn't really green at all. He's Breg the Jester, a former member of Egan's Rats from St. Louis. He's Breg, but he's been here a while, Malone. Sure, but only since 1920. He couldn't pay off his debts in Missouri, so he faked his death and moved to San Francisco. He's been longing to go back, but he needs a way to settle his score before he can show his face again. Is that where his bootlegging comes in? Uh-huh. Green set up a sham rum running scheme. He bought local wine but claimed to get it at the lower prices from Canada. He'd convinced Tiny Paul to front him a heap of cash for it. There, she's just telling Frankie here what I told you guys. Instead of providing the wine, he's planning to skip town with Paul's money, disappearing to St. Louis with enough dough to pay back his debts. There was a migration of stuff to the West Coast around that time of people. Really? In the 1920s? He already faked his death once, so he'll do it again here? Yes, that's right. His plan is similar to his last one. Hire a detective claiming he's scared for his life, fake his death, then no, the police won't bother with underground violence. Frankie looked at me with a blank stare. Seems like all the pieces fit, so he just hired you as cover. Seems like it. Don't worry about that. I'm going to see Shipman now. I'll sweep away this mess, then come back and see you. Have a stiff drink ready. Just be careful, Malone. Egan's rats have a reputation. They can be ruthless. I turned and walked up the stairs. Dun dun dun! Oh. And they even took the original baseball team here. Oh, really? I didn't know that. That's a thing? Green high. By the way, for anyone to get their minds blown, but not get their minds blown? Question mark. This game is set in 1920, so if you think about it, it's been 100 years since that. It's been a century. Anyway, Green hired me for cover so that he could blow town. Shipman held the final evidence to sink that plan. I needed to get to the station. I stepped into the taxicab and was consumed with my own thoughts about the case. I'd finally caught my break, but it was a dud. I hadn't realized it, but I had been reveling in the real detective work. Once I learned it was all bunk, my mind reverted to its incessant nagging. I wondered if I was just a puppet to some 2-bit mobster. I was hardly bringing much justice to anybody, which made me unsure of what exactly it was that I was doing. I suppose I was wasting my time. Oh, really? Funny. It all came back to the same basic premise. You're failing, my inner voice said. I began to feel nauseous in the car. My mind repeated its last thought. You are failing. Oh, that's sad. Malone, don't do it to yourself. And then everything turned to black. Oh shit, I was drugged! As if someone had shut all the lights. My naked arms faded into view. They emitted a soft wired glow. I rubbed my eyes, willing them to focus. But without success, between my fingers it appeared in the distance. Oh, I love the music, guys. It's so cool. I could hardly see, but an object billowed. A clarity came to me. Then I understood what it was. Lewis's gray coat. I floated towards it. I reached to grab the coat, which was when I saw the needles. No, not needles. Glass. Shards falling all around me. One piece wedged itself deep into my right elbow. Oh, that's gotta hurt. I grimaced, but I was unable to make any noise or movements. But then, as suddenly as the rain had started, it stopped. I looked upward with caution, wary of the rain's return, but above me I saw the gray coat. It was no longer billowing. It was rigid, a shield against the terrible rain. It started falling, slowly at first, but quickly it gained speed. It came upon me and enveloped me completely. It was suffocating. I couldn't breathe. I let out a gasp. And then, the light! It pierced my eye sockets, like mine right now. It's very painful. Yes, it's very Hitchcock. Very Hitchcock. Hitting the back of my skull like a hammer on an anvil. I directed all my energy into my lungs and forced out a yell. That helped. Everything became quiet. I could breathe deeply. I noticed someone beside me. He gradually came into focus. Shipman showed his teeth in a big smile. I looked up at him from my laying position on the Murphy bed. He swung his leg over a chair and sat beside me. Thought you'd never come around, he said. What happened? I tried to ask him something, but another bolt of pain raced up my elbow. All I managed was a groan. Relax, PC. Just a few scratches. Quite the auto crash. Oh! Flew straight through the front window. They took out a large piece of glass from your right arm. I remembered none of that. I mumbled the words auto crash to myself. I wondered how bad the accident might have been. Oh god, more gas, guys. Okay, it's gone. Shipman removed the flask from his pocket, unscrewed the top and handed it to me. Not the best hoosh, but might get rid of that banging in your head. Let's be. I took a swig. I closed my eyes and sighed a deep breath as its warmth burned down my throat. I know modern medicine doubts it, but that gulp of moonshine helped. I went to give the flask back to Shipman, but he put out a hand to stop me. Hang on to it. Might need another swing after what I'm about to tell you. I propped myself on the left shoulder to listen. About Green's case, the two of us figured he was going to fake his own death. Shipman clicked his tongue to his teeth and looked towards the floor. That ain't happening. Last night, Connor Green was shot through the heart twice. Oh shit! He actually died. What? I shouted. The exclamation was impulsive. I swung my legs quickly around and sat on the edge of my bed. The headache had suddenly vanished. Whoa there, Shipman said. Look, been here with you all night, he added quickly, in that chair beside the bed. Just telephoned the station to check in, and that's the rap they gave me. Told them what I'd known from you, and they said they'd chase it up. Oh shit, that changes things, guys, because he's actually dead. He was supposed to fake his death, and the fact that he's actually dead changes things. How do you know it was him? Another involuntary question. I was running on instinct. PC, faking your death involves a mangled body. Shot through the chest, his face is still intact. Whatever Green was planning on doing, he didn't get that far. And we looked it up. He doesn't have a twin. That would be too easy. Shipman grinned. Green hired you for this case. Gives you every right to follow it up if you want. That said, he was likely taking you for a ride. Wouldn't blame you if you wanted to drop it. But like your help, PC. You know the case. Could use your head, even it's been a little bumped. Once you're feeling better, I'll be at the station. Come find me there. Shipman stood up and cracked his back. Maybe I'll catch some shut-eye on top of my desk, too. Sure beats that chair you got. He turned and walked out. Ooh, that changes things, guys. He's actually dead this time, so someone actually killed him. I stood up from the creaking bed and I surveyed the cluttered apartment. Oh, that's a Murphy bed. I was wondering, why does she have a large wardrobe but no bed? Apparently it's her bed. The cat's still here. The cat slept at the foot of the bed. I scratched behind his ear and he seemed to like that. Apartment was already cramped when the Murphy bed was up. With it down, I could barely squeeze through the living room. Okay. Read that. Okay. I stared at the doorway, took a deep breath. I suppose I owed Shipman enough to help solve the case, even if Green had given me the runaround. After all, what type of detective would leave a case half solved? There's only one place to go. Although Green had just been using me, his life had apparently been in danger all along. I resolved to find his killer. I headed to the North Beach station for any information Shipman could give me before starting the chase. I waved down the taxicab and I was on my way. I thought I might talk to the driver to pass time. I looked out the window until we reached my destination. The headquarters building. Wait, I read that already. Oh, there. I stepped out of the taxicab and walked through the station doors, ready to chase my leads on Green. But standing in front of me as I entered, bawling her eyes from their sockets, was Mrs. Green. She saw me and brought her wailing closer. Malone, she exhaled through her sobbing. You were working for my husband. What happened? Her breathing obscured her next sentences, but I got the general idea. I told her I knew little about the matter as she did, but that I was looking into it, and I was sure the officers were doing their best. She begged me to help them, again drowning most of her sentences with her sobbing. I promised I would try. She took a slow inhale, raised her chest, and walked out of the station. When she was out of sight, Fred Grant came around the corner and let out a snort. No. Like that. Grant was another investigator from the SFPD. I studied his ruddy face strewn with broken capillaries that it gave the impression of a map of streams. Oh, no worries, Queenerd. Enjoy. I should shave mine, actually. Maybe on Thursday. A cigar often poked through his mouth, hardening his jaw and twisting his face into a scowl. I suppose that was an appropriate look for a man who enjoyed his bribes in liquid form. Ooh. Grant had never been a supporter of policewomen, and he was no fan of mine. He lighted the cigar and said, "That widow seems pretty torn up about him. You really helping her out?" It wasn't his place to know, so I just stared at him. "Well, all right. If you ain't gonna talk, I should be on my way. Last thing I gotta do is head to the tin spoon, then toss this in the freezer." He was about to close the case cold. His smile as though he was glad to do it. I raised a questioning brow. "You aren't chasing it up?" I asked. He looked appalled that I would even ask. "We've got more to deal with than some dead gangster. The captain don't care about crap like this so long as it's not spreading too far." "And what about the girl?" "What do you expect? This broad goes and marries an Irishman. Probably killed by one of his own, or some dago. Oh, all those bums run together." I gave him a frown, to which he responded, "Look, if the missus wants you on this, that's her gamble. But I ain't gonna lead you nowhere. I don't expect support from the boys." "Not even if I find Green's killer?" He laughed. "If you get a confession, we'll cop him. Not something the DA can thumb his nose at, either. They gotta admit 3 things. How they killed Green, when they did it, why'd they bother. You do that, then sure. We'll be right behind you. But there ain't nobody here looking into it, I promise." He pulled the cap and walked out. Ooh. Spicy! I hurled a glare at Grant's direction, and I was still fuming as I turned down the hallway towards Shipman's office. Shipman was frowning at the stacks of paper atop his desk, but he stood atop and smiled when he saw me. "Glad you made it." I asked what he found about the case thus far. He laughed and motioned at the paper stacks. "Not in any way related to Green. Piled on the trash now. Nobody's looking into Green's case here." I must have scowled a mean look at him because Shipman was quick to shake his head. "Not that case is dead, PC. But Captain has no one on it. Even Grant's coming off as soon as he can. We're underwater with this bunk." "So you've got nothing for me?" "Not true. The department still did the regular foxtrot." "Like the dance?" He tossed me a beige folder. Not a manila folder? They should have done manila folder. Inside was a large black and white photograph of Green's face, muscles relaxed and eyes closed. It looked almost normal, apart from his flattened hat behind his head and the dirt and grass behind that. The report behind the picture noted 3 important clues. Here we go, guys. First, Green died at midnight the previous night. I cursed myself that I'd been so close to stopping it. Second, Green was killed with 2 .45 caliber bullets to the chest. Those slugs weren't from a pea shooter. Green was killed by a mean gun. Finally, that Green was found this morning laying in Washington Square Park. That was only a block away from the Tin Spoon. I noted each of these facts and gave the folder back to Shipman. "All we got," Shipman said, laying the folder back on his desk. "Can't pinch the gunman if you can prove the case, but you got to solve it without much support. Don't have time to help either. No point coming back here until you've got your man." "At least I'm on a case," I said. "That's good enough to leave me tickled pink." Shipman laughed. "But listen, we need a confession on this one. Captain doesn't want to run around." Right. Grant mentioned they'd have to admit to how, why, and when they killed Green. That's it. Prove that and we'll pick them up. Never been on a murder before, right? Can get tense. Just know, if you accuse someone but can't prove anything, they'll turn like a switch. Might like you 1 minute but hate you the next. Chatting with folks is your greatest route to more information, but won't get any banter after you accuse someone of murder. Murder. So be careful of who you accuse. Could make your case harder if you go the wrong way. Ooh, is that a hint? Alright, I get it. And remember, plenty of lies out there, but you can contradict means, motive, and opportunity with anything in your notes. So this is the actual case now, guys. The case we were doing before was just a... what do you say? A red herring. I stood outside the police station and went over the mantra. I only had to prove the means, motive, and the opportunity for anyone suspected of the murder. Once I found all three for a single person, I'd have them licked. Uh-oh. Licking. I started out to begin the case. Let's go to Green's house. Yes, a red herring! Mrs. Green had pleaded with me at the police station. I hope she would be more helpful than she did the previous day. Oh, let's not talk to the driver. I'm glad you enjoyed that, Bella. Aw, thank you. Because, you know, chaos happens in my stream, so I had to make that emote because of the things people say sometimes. I came upon the greenhouse and knocked on the door. This time, Mrs. Green opened it quickly. Wait, you have your Hulk emote. That works. I guess? Miss Malone, she panted, with a noticeable shock in her eyes. I'm frightened about people knocking at my door, she said by way of explanation. After what happened to my husband, everything feels so cold. Oh, I'm blabbering. Please come inside. Okay, KK. I'm calling it in advance. Maybe the wife did it. She was more awake than the previous day, but her hair was a bit tousled. Her S's hung in the air long enough to belie her lack of complete sobriety. Have you found anything about my husband's killer? I shook my head and replied that there was nothing definitive just then. I said I would need to ask her some questions that might spark some investigation. She said, certainly. Did you have any knowledge of any weapon used to kill your husband? You mean, do I know anything about guns? I'm sorry, Miss Malone. I wouldn't even know where to get one. Okay. What were you doing last night? Of course. Let's see. I was singing with the band. The show ending at about 10 o'clock. Then we went out to the billiard hall. Oh, it haunts me that Connor was so close when he was killed, but none of us heard anything, with how loud we were and how sealed that building is. How late were you in the pool room? I asked. Up until early in the morning, say 2 or 3. Okay, let's note that. Do you know anybody with any reason whatsoever to kill your husband? She mentioned her husband had been a bootlegger, but then turned down on the waterworks for a few minutes. I got her to calm down and ask, were there any domestic quarrels? She pouted at my question. Every marriage had its quarrels, Miss Malone, but I loved him dearly. It's part of my job to ask, Mrs. Green. Oh, let's ask about this. I glanced at the coat that hung on the rack. Where did you get this? Connor brought it home one day. It was too small for his frame, but I thought it looked swell on me. Seems built for a man, I said. Sure. It's the freedom age, darling. We can wear anything or even nothing at all. Look at me, guys. I'm just wearing a vest. But, oh yeah, context, the coat that Malone is pointing at used to be her uncle's coat. That's why it was like suspicious of of the girl to have that coat. Yeah. That's why she's like sus. Why does she have my uncle's coat? Wait, the uncle died by suicide. What if Malone? What if Malone? What if Connor Green was the one who killed? Ooh. You like this, Bella? Yeah. This is a short game, by the way. I plan to finish this during this stream. It seems your husband was from St. Louis, I put to her. She squirmed but said nothing, so I pressed her. Mrs. Green, I'm investigating his death. You're right, she sighed. He had told me he was from out east, though he lied to everyone else. He claimed he had to flee from his past. I never asked about the details, but so that's all I know. That you're the first person I've told. Okay, so she knows that he was from St. Louis. So maybe she found out. Okay, this is just all speculation. Maybe she found out that her husband used to be a gangster. Or even worse. Maybe he had a mistress. He also had 2 train tickets to get there, I continued. He wanted to return. Well, those tickets have no date printed on them. She paused, looked at me from underneath long lashes and continued. He was thinking of going back there. I guess whatever trouble he had was blowing over. But I refused. I told him I wanted to stay in San Francisco. Whenever Connor and I quarreled, a sharp, wavering inhale cut off her sentence. Well, he kept them around to brandish, to show me that he loved me, and that he stayed here only for me. I nodded and spoke about something else. Let's ask about the bottle that she was drinking yesterday when she was high and drunk. I motioned to the bottles on the ground. Yes, I'd make a terrible housemaid, she said. It's hard for a working girl, you understand. In many ways I did, but my clutter was less inebriating, and I told her so. Sometimes the vocal cords need a little lubrication. Oh. Yes, lubrication down the throat. Love it. I pointed at the wilting flower. It's a struggle to keep that plant alive, I said. Yes, but I can't say no to yellow chrysanthemums. They are so warm. Brighten the entire room. I wonder if the chrysanthemums would be a thing. Like, would we ever find out? Would it be like a clue to something? Let's ask about the letter. Your husband received a threatening letter, I said. That's why he came to me. I know, the police told me the details this morning. That Connor had gotten the letter and that he had begun bootlegging again. And that he thought a man named Redstone Stable was after him for it. It seemed they had told her everything. Okay, so she knows about it. She knows about the letter. We just got a letter. We just got a letter. Okay, let's ask about the wine bottle. Does she know about it? Okay, she doesn't know anything about it. Oh, let's ask about Tiny Paul. Okay. What were you doing last night? As I said before, I was in the pool room from around 10 o'clock until early in the morning. Is that what she said? No worries. Good night, Pat. See you around. I'll be finishing this game today, though. Because it's quite a short game. Take care. Night-night. I can't contradict it yet. Okay, let's leave. Let's leave. Let's ask other people. Oh, we can look around the room again. Okay, that's it. Let's go to the Tin Spoon Lounge. Where, yeah, he was a block away from this area when he got shot. I really love the transitions. It's so nice. I rapped my knuckles on the same metal door. Instead of the usual dark eyes, the door swung open to reveal Fred Grant. He let out a PC, good seeing ya, with more whiskey in his breath than a fire breather. He stumbled out the next few steps and caught his limp body, and I caught his limp body. All loose ends tied up, he said, winking at me while he tried to stand tall. Through the doorman in the back of the wagon. He says nobody came in or out from the upstairs billiard hall last night. A hiccup interrupted Grant's thought. You know, I believe him, but the Bulls need something to work on, and putting welts on this goon will make... Okay, he's just a corrupt detective. So he's only arresting the doorman because he needed someone to arrest. He again tried to stand upright, failing at that, and he stumbled to his police car, got behind the wheel, let the sirens loose, and drove the machine around the corner. I continued up the stairs to find a similar scene as the day before, only Tiny Paul had been replaced by a young woman, idly playing decks of cards cut across the billiards table. Ooh. 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 I could see the tears welled in the girl's eyes. I approached the young woman and looked her up and down. I studied her clothes. She wore an olive scarf tied around her head. Her dress was a darker green with long tassels that shimmered yellow, even in the dim light of the billiards hall. It was cut above the knee, indicating that she was likely a performer with the band. I cleared my throat, and she turned around. Oh, she said in an airy timbre. I didn't hear anybody after that officer left. Something wobbled in her voice that made it obvious she was holding back tears. What did Grant want? I asked her. Him? Well, he'd started by asking about Connor Green, the man who died here last night. What do you know about Green? Well, from all the coppers I learned he died last night, though. I heard nothing in here. Maybe I was already asleep then, but I'm not sure. I don't think we could have heard a shot through all that racket. Why were you here? I'm Ella Smith. I work nights as a backing singer. I came upstairs after the show ended. I realized she was related to the Green case, at least partially. I had to pump her of information. Do you know anybody who had a gun that could kill Green? She looked at me puzzled. I explained myself. Miss, I'm just a private detective looking into the matter. I need to follow up with everyone. She looked surprised when I said private detective, but she didn't comment on it further. She chuckled on my question. I don't know if you know this, but well, this place is a type of a gangster hideout. No one in the band has shooters, of course, but just about everybody else in the building is carrying something. Ooh, in their pants? That was no help in narrowing my list of suspects, but I nodded in understanding. You don't carry a gun yourself? She shook her head. No, ma'am. No shooters in the band. Sus! Green was killed about midnight. Do you remember anything from then? Midnight was the time I sang all by myself to the crowd. Is this the same song that I know? Or is that a different all by myself? How do you know it was midnight? Well, last New Year's Eve at exactly midnight, me and little Fanny, you know, our lead, did a swell duet for the boys. They wanted to hear it again, but she wasn't around to sing it. So I did it alone. Oh! See, I told you guys. Oh, little Fanny is Mrs. Green, the wife. So Ella here is saying that she sang the song alone because Mrs. Green was not there. Little Fanny wasn't around, I asked. But the doorman says nobody from the billiards room left the joint. Ella shrugged. Maybe she was in the toilets. I didn't go looking for her. Look, I never got to sing lead. They don't like us Chinese girls doing that. So I took my chance. Oh, she's Chinese. Okay. How could I turn it down? She asked. Well, anyhow, after that song is when I really downed some gin. I didn't much like it, but then I said it was good for me and I was riding high with everyone watching. I don't remember much after that. I thanked her for the tip. So you claim you were here at midnight? That's right. Okay. I told you guys, it's the wife. Do you know anybody who could have a reason to kill Connor Green? No. I'm not sure. I heard Connor came around here on the regular a few weeks back. That's how he and Fanny met. But that was before my time. I never saw him much. Yeah, the art is so good. And the music also brings everything to life. And the whole aesthetic of it. Yeah, I like the little animation. It's like very subtle. It's clearly just like the drawings fading into one another, but it looks really good. Where is Tiny Paul? I need to see him. Paul's likely as tired as I am. After the band finished downstairs, we all came up to play poker. Paul and the boys were at it the entire night, so I assume he's at home. I asked if she knew where Paul's home was, but she shook her head. No, Paul and I aren't close. Sorry, I'm so gassy today, guys. I've been burping the whole time. Let's talk about the trench coat, because I saw the trench coat when guys, when I got in that car accident, I saw the gray trench coat. Who else had the trench coat other than Mrs. Green? You know what would be a great twist? If they reveal that my uncle is actually still alive. Right? That would be a twist. That would be so shocking if that came up as a twist. I think that's it. Let's ask about... Oh, I should have asked this with the wife. I asked her again about the whereabouts of... Okay. I'm so sorry! So I already asked about that. Oh, let's ask about Washington Square Park. Never mind, never mind. Apparently the game doesn't like it. What else can I ask? I asked if Green's wife sang here under the pseudonym Little Fanny. Ella Smith. Okay, that just confirmed that she's Little Fanny. That doesn't mean anything. Oh, let's ask about her holding back tears. Why is she crying? I said I noticed she'd been crying, and asked her why. Her lower lip wavered, but she managed to stop it before any tears could get through. It's that copper who was just here. He kept wanting me to feed him drinks, and the more I put in him, the more fresh he got with me. She heaved a sigh. You should have smacked him, I told her. She laughed and exclaimed, You know, I did just that. I probably shouldn't have smacked the copper, but it felt good finally socking one of them. Anyhow, I'm just frantic because of the booze, but it should wear off. She was putting up a strong mask, but I could tell something about Grant's interaction had rattled her. Ooh, The truth is, most women wear a mask in public. Almost every one of us has a story about being mistreated or worse. Me too. Well, a subtle reference to Me Too movement, I guess. What else can we ask? Does she know? No, I don't think the wine bottles are important. Yeah. It's clear that was not important. Your parents are Chinese? I don't even know my parents, and I can't speak Chinese. I was raised at the Occidental Board Mission House. The one orphanage that takes Chinese kids, but nobody adopts an Oriental. She said that last word with obvious disgust. Over half the kids my age die as infants. We're the unwanted. She paused and looked down at her feet. I waited for her to continue, but she didn't say anything else. Huh. I wonder why she's important. Okay, that doesn't... Okay. I guess that's it. Let's go somewhere else. Yeah, there's nothing else here. Let's go to the barbershop. No. Not Frankie. The barbershop. Let's ask Stable. Because Stable told us that the letter was from the Black Hand. The threatening letter that Green got was from the Black Hand. But we just found out that it's a fake letter. It's not from the Black Hand at all. So let's see what he knows about it. There was a... Oh, it's not Stable. He stared at me with a grin that extended to his eyes. He was wearing a barber's cape, which told me that he was here for a haircut. I wondered why Stable had left this man mid-trim. I asked how he was doing. Swell, he answered. Yes, very swell indeed, thank you, miss. His words came out as jovial as his expression. They held a slight, affable southern tint. A few more pleasantries returned equally verbose responses with no meat to them. They piqued my interest. A stranger in Stable's barber chair with no sign of Stable around. Who are you? I asked with genuine curiosity. I'm merely a mortal man enjoying my life at this very moment, he replied, looking me up and down, and there is much to enjoy. I heaved a sigh in response. Last night's headache hadn't fully disappeared, making me too tired to play any of his games. He frowned slightly. I'm merely paying a compliment, he said. You modern girls get your stockings all knotted whenever someone calls you pretty. Fuck you! I asked again, who are you? My name is Ray Carter, a regular jazz bassist at the Tin Spoon Lounge. Oh! Though I suppose any lady with an attitude like yours never gets around to the speakeasy. Fuck you! He worked at the Tin Spoon. That surprised me. Were you there last night? I asked. Until early morning, he gleamed. I happened to be winning a nice bucket of change at the poker table. Just about everyone was saying they never saw someone play cards so well. But I suppose you don't gamble either. Can you just stop, dude? I let that jab go and wondered if he was at all related to this case. He plainly disliked my demeanor, and I thought that answers might be hard to get from him. He saw me taking notes and asked, Are you some sort of continental operative? When I nodded, he let down a whistle and said, A woman detective? Well, that's almost as swell a sight as a black man in a white man's barber chair. Well, you're problematic. Did you have access to the gun Green was shot with? A black man with a cannon, he laughed. Miss, if I held one... Oh, he's black. Miss, if I held one in the Tin Spoon, I would lose more than my job. Much more than my job. These boys do not treat me like they do, pretty lady. I like to keep my neck, so no, I do not carry one. Yeah, that makes sense. Green died about midnight. I was inside all night with the band and Tiny Paw playing poker. We heard no shots in that racket. Did you have any reason to kill Green? I asked him directly. You know, little Fanny had his 2 nickels straight, but I never supposed that killing Green would get me closer. No, miss. I had no motive for that. Huh. Let's ask about... Oh. I tried asking Carter about something... Okay, never mind. Fuck. Yep. Wait, does he know about this? Let's see. I showed Carter... Okay, never mind. He doesn't know anything about that. Green kicked the can near midnight. Right, yes. You told me that already. We were on the billiards. Okay. Ooh. Fanny wasn't in the pool. There. Ella Smith tells me little Fanny wasn't in the billiards room at midnight. I remember her being there at the beginning and end of midnight, but I cannot keep track of everyone every time. If Ella seems sure, I have no reasons to doubt her. Okay, so we believe Ella. Okay, he doesn't know anything about that. I pushed Carter further on why he was at the barber shop, but he refused. But can he tell me where stable is? No? Yes? Maybe? I show... Okay. You could ask him about this. Oh. I thought I was smart. I don't know. I don't think I can ask him anything else. Okay, let's go to Southern Coffee. I sat down on the bar and summarized my night for Frankie, including that Shipman told me this morning. Frankie's eyebrows raised in shock throughout the story. He was attentive and asked many questions. He shook his head in disbelief as I finished the story. That is some case. So you think you'll go through with it? I told him I thought I would. I don't know, Malone. These Egan rats sound dangerous. You sure you know what you're doing? I answered with a stern look. Well, alright. Just let me know if I can help with anything. I pulled Green's letter from my pocket and showed it to Frankie. So this note is fake, he said, shaking his head. It sure seems that way, I agreed. You sure you could be digging into this mess? You should be digging into this mess. These gangsters can be dangerous. I can handle my own, I told him. I folded the page back into my pocket and asked about something else. Who would have a gun? Green was killed with an automatic pistol. Right, you caught me up with that. So you need to find out what weapon... Okay. I don't think I can ask anything else. I guess let's go to the wife. What's this? A yellowed newspaper was flopped on the counter. It was the sports section dated June 1st, 1887. It read, Browns continue dominant play ending May with a 21-2 record after a Herculean 2 games thrown at the same day pitcher Conway. Okay. Um, there. What were you doing last night? As I said before, I was in the pool room from 10 o'clock until early in the morning. Contradict! One of your backing singers claims you left the upstairs room before midnight. That's not true. I was there the entire evening. She seemed quite sure, Mrs. Green. She sang to drunken boys without you there. But I asked our doorman, Miss Malone. He says nobody left the upstairs room. Are you doing your own digging? I asked. She blushed. I just now have no confidence in the police. Anyway, if nobody came from upstairs, that eliminates anyone in the pool room. I must have been in the restroom if Ella is certain I wasn't in them at the exact time, because I could not have been outside. Can we contradict that? I don't think we can. Shit. What if we do the gray trench coat? Oh, yeah, I saw cards on the table from the thing last night. How much did you win last night? I asked him. Oh, a heap of it. And how many aces did it take you to get there? His face contorted somewhere between a surprise and frown. How many aces did Tiny Paul think were in that deck? I poked Fodor. Now, look there. Tiny Paul is a mean-spirited, no-good, black-hating son of a bitch. He pays us pennies, but wants us to be good and smile for him. Well, I'm not having that, miss. I'm not having that at all. Yes, I took him for a ride, and I feel no remorse for it. In some ways, it is all part of the game. I said that was all right, but Tiny Paul might see it differently. Now, now you wouldn't tell him that, would you? Okay, so he cheated during the poker game last night. I don't see reason I need to. So as long as you tell me what I want to know. Well, certainly, most certainly. What is it that you want? I want to know where the stable is. Stable was here, congenial and unhurried. Then he received a telephone call and said he had to check on something on the 10th foreign racetrack. He told me to just sit tight until he returned, and here we are. That is so weird, guys. Can you imagine if you're a barber just like, hold on, I had to go somewhere, leaves the barbershop and says, just stay there, okay? And you're like mid-trim. So Stable had gone to his horses, another lead that would need chasing. You know, he continued, I bet he had no reason to cheat last night. Not with the way Ellie kept distracting him. Yes, he was very distracted indeed. Ella Smith and Tiny Paul have something going on? That girl throws herself onto him like she'd throw water on a fire. I noted that, then changed the subject of a conversation. Okay, that's good enough. I just wanted to know where Stable was. The 10th foreign racetrack had reopened. I'm sorry if I'm covering the text. Had reopened the previous year with the help of millionaire Adolf Speckles and some of associates, one of whom was Stable. No, today no races were ongoing. The sheer size of the empty grounds and grandstands were impressive. I hopped and locked the turnstile and wandered in the grandstands and some of the grounds. But all my searching turned up nothing and nobody, not even Stable. I returned near the entrance to search for more clues. Empty boxes were thrown next to the old betting house. I spent some time rummaging through them and found nothing of interest. I removed the trash bin's lid to let my hands play with something while my thoughts had time to form. But peering in, oh shit, I saw the biggest break, and in the case thus far, an automatic pistol, 45 caliber, was right on top of the pile. We found the murder weapon, guys. A throat cleared behind me. I pocketed the weapon quickly and turned and turned around to see Stable's smug grin. Have you come to watch the horses? Rumor says that running through fire, through the living, will be the victor. Oh, that's the name of the horse, running through fire. Though at times it can be dangerous to put stock in rumors. I got you now. Oh, I don't think it's him though. It's clearly the wife. Green was shot last night. Any chance you know the priest that plugged him? Miss Malone. I'm not the sort to be associated with any way with a pistol. Can we show it to him? I found an automatic in your trash bin. This 45 is a gangster caliber. What are the chances it's the same one that killed Green? For the first time, I saw Stable frown. I have no idea how or why that gun was placed in that receptacle, but I suppose it could be a gangster's weapon. I tried pumping him down the line once more, but whatever I said, he wouldn't admit to anything else. Still, I knew I had him on the ropes, and that could get more out of him if I asked the right questions. He had admitted the gun would be the murder weapon, that the gun could be the murder weapon, but I still didn't know he had the motivation or opportunity to kill Green. And he still hadn't told me his real reasons for being at the racetrack. Why are you fucking here? Oh, there. Ray Carter told me something interesting. He says you got a wire from somebody and rushed out, leaving him mid-trim. Stable frowned again. I was beginning to like his frowns. So it seems to me that your boys found the murder weapon in the trash, then called you around to see what to do about it. Yes, he admitted. I was telephoned to look at the weapon. We were about to phone the police about it when I noticed you wandering the grounds. Aha! Why were you so interested in the Green case, and why is this gun here? Do you remember, Miss Malone, that Connor Green had already attempted to frame me? Once I had learned of his death, I thought that whomever had killed him would also try to blame me. See, I told you guys, it's not him. Someone is just trying to frame him of the murder. I invited Carter for a trim in exchange for information about the murder. Ah, kaya pala. And I told my associates to watch out for anything suspicious at the racetrack. As soon as the gun was found, they telephoned me, and here we are. So you still won't admit to the murder? Think what you want, Miss Malone, but I had no reason to kill Connor Green, and if you think otherwise, you're just playing into the game set up by the real killer. Still, I was much further along than I had been. Where were you last night? That is a late hour, Stable said, Miss Malone. I'm always fast asleep in my bed at that time of night. So nobody was there with you? No, I was alone. I would never lie to you, Miss Malone. Of course, it would be just as difficult for you to disprove my story as it would be for me to prove it. And we live in a civilized nation that requires your proof, not mine. Okay. I believe him. I believe him that he was just at home. Shipman tells me Green's letter is a forgery. Yes, Miss Malone, that I told you. He knew it was a forgery. Did you know that Green is lying about his Oakland past? Well, you are volunteering quite interesting information. I did not know that. But thank you for it. Okay, so he did not know that Green is not green. Oh. Can I ask him about anything? Let's ask him about his motive. I mean, it's clearly not him. He's clearly being framed, but you know. Green already thought you had it out for him. What if he had good cause to think that? Wouldn't his bootleg scheme put you under? Miss Malone, I assure you I do no illegal rum running. Green's story was simply a ruse. Have you not yet discovered that yet? I had no reason to he had no reason to murder him. Like he has no reason at all. Okay, I think that's it. I think it's that easy. Wooden slats bordered the window to the old betting house. The Walker Otis measure of 1909 prohibited gambling on horses, which meant most racetracks shuttered, including the Tanforan. But Stable and a few other investors reopened the track for the previous year, claiming to operate without taking bets. I had first snuck into the race cap, jumping through the locks, turnstile. Let's ask about the hat that we saw. I brought up the hat on the rack. Who does that belong to? What do you mean? I think it's my husband's. Green was wearing his hat in a police photo. Oh, you're right. He was wearing a hat in the police photo. He may have more than one, she said. Okay, we can't ask her about that. Oh, I think we have to go back to Stable. Wait. We can't look at the hat? Okay. Oh shit. Sorry. I accidentally clicked talk. It's about his motive. He's like, he's not into illegal rum running. But what are these boxes? Shit. I thought I had him. Apparently that doesn't work. Huh, so I can't ask him about his bootlegging. Suspicious behavior, leaving Carter mid-trim. Yeah, he refused. Okay, let's talk about the gun then. This pistol in your bin. I have no idea, blah blah blah. Boxes? I pointed... Oh, he doesn't know about the boxes. Okay, he won't talk about that. I need proof that the wife went out of the tin spoon. That's the proof I need. And yes, I know I'm clearly like going for the wife on this, guys. I really feel like it's her. I really feel like she did it. Hey, Vaj. Welcome in. What? What? What do you mean? I? How's it going? Let's ask her about throwing herself at Paul. Ray Carter tells me that you and Tiny Paul are close. Is that true, Miss Smith? She squinted at me hotly. Oh, and let out a sigh. Okay, he's right. I'm in love with Paul. That's no crime. It was obvious she wanted to hide the relationship. But if the two of them ever broke it off, her career would be doomed. I empathize with her. The heart never plays fair. Huh? This won't get out on my account, I promised. But you have to tell me Tiny Paul's whereabouts. She sighed and gave me the address of a Pacific Heights apartment building. He lives in the penthouse on the top floor. Just don't tell him that I told you. Okay, so that's the goal of... Okay, so Ray was only there so that we can find Stable. And Ella is just here so that we can find Paul. Oh. Also, let me shout you out, Vaj. This game is quite cool, Vaj. It's like very, It's like very... It's like a very good mystery. Hello, Pogi ako. Oh, Pogi ako. Nice. I look familiar, really? Well, who are you then? Welcome in as well, by the way. Paul's building was still new, built only a few years earlier. But it was already a beacon of Pacific Heights, tall and proud above its surroundings. Its crisp, vanilla interior was accented with gold, and its elevator was run by an equally immaculate operator. I rode it to the top floor bungalow that belonged to Tiny Paul. Oh, wow, nice. Does that work? Paul's home was extravagant. Sorry if I'm covering the thing. Every time adorning the apartment was of high quality. Oh, every item adorning the apartment was of high quality, but there was an evident lack of finesse to their combination, as though Paul had simply purchased expensive accoutrements without any thought for design. Fancy! A hat hung from the rack nailed to the back wall, as did an empty gun holster. Okay. The couch and chairs had patterned olive-colored cushions. Their arms and legs were a gaudy shade of gold, matching the gold on the tables. Grabe si Nix. Wow, okay. The old paintings that hung on the wall had no particular theme. One had roses, another showed a landscape, but each of their frames was ornately carved from fine wood. Huh. Paul's light brown shoes were discarded by the couch he lay on. Yan na. Tiny Paul was sprawled across his Chesterfield, smelling of rubbing alcohol. That's how drunk he is? I said hello. It took a century, but his eyes eventually climbed to meet mine, and he slurred a greeting. I figured a drunk Tiny Paul could be more honest. I thought it was a good time to grill him. We still don't know why he's called Tiny Paul. What's the tiny? I want to know. You own any guns? Tiny Paul looked at me enough. Not a single one. I have proof you have a gun holster. I pointed at the empty holster in the room. That strap just hold your slingshot. Paul's deep breath carried more booze than a bootlegger's truck. All right, Malone. I do carry a gun, but you're bucking up the wrong tray. Lay off if you know what's good for you. You don't even know what my gun looks like. You were looking for a mega? Nice. Yeah, and you found him. Can we show this? I described the gun I found and how it matched the type gangsters were known to carry. And I don't see your gun around here. I keep my gun in that holster, and when I'm not at home, that holster stays on my person or in my jacket. So where is it now, Paul? What if I told you I lost it yesterday? How could you disprove that? A weak story, Paul. Weak or not, is what I am telling you. Just what are you gonna do about it? Just asking questions. A detective has to cover all her leads. Okay. So Paul owns the gun, but I believe that the wife took the gun from Paul. I told Paul that Green had been killed with a large automatic. What is our country coming to? So many people owning firearms. Well, hate to tell you, Paul, 100 years later. Oh god, I have so much gas in my stomach. I am burping a lot. He had nothing to say about that. Oh, let's talk about this. Paul's response to that was simply to look at me at glossy eyes. Oh my god, Scorpion, what the heck? Ano ako, baby? I'm a baby that you like do that on the back? To burp out all the burps, the airs. Yeah, to help to release the gas. I got what you're doing, Scorpion. No worries. I see you. I went to the Tin Spoon and you weren't there. So you decided to pester me here. Let's ask about this. Smith is in love with Paul. Ella Smith tells me that you two are lovers. He let out a low grumble. Smith was beautiful, but she was Chinese, and Paul wouldn't sit well if rumors swirled about the two of them. Oh shit! Paul, is she lying to me? No. It's just petting between us, nothing more. Ay, grabe. Petting. Only petting. Ella Smith tells me Lil Fanny was absent from the billiards room at midnight. So? He asked impatiently. So was she? Malone, when I've got my head down in a poker game, the building could burn to the ground and I wouldn't notice. I know she came up with us and I walked her to the cab when we left otherwise, I don't know who was in or out of the billiards room. I know she came up with us and I walked her to the cab when we left. Huh. Yeah, you've been at it for like hours now, Scorpion. Lubing those switches. Okay, doesn't... So it's his gun. It's his gun. You know Green Supply was baloney? I said. He nodded. So you know the game. You did too? I replied, surprise evident in my voice. Yeah, how did he know? Early this morning I went to... Well, you don't need to know where. Anyway, it's enough to tell you this. Green was pulling the bait and switch. He wanted to take our money and get out of the city. He had no plan to sell any of this stuff. So yeah, I'm glad he got what is coming to him. But no, I'm not the one who plugged him. As much as Paul claimed to not be responsible, I wondered how much I could trust the word of a gangster. At least his drunken speech has given me a possible motive. Yeah, but I don't know. I still think it's the wife. Green was killed around midnight. After the jazz stopped playing at 10, I went up to the pool room to shoot. I think the whole band came in. We played cards until early in the morning. So you're in the Tin Spoon all night? I asked. After 10, he nodded. Though I did leave before then, I met with Redstone Stable at 9 o'clock. Then around 5 in the morning, it seemed like he hadn't slept much. Wait, he met with Stable? So that means Stable was lying. Oh, hey, Raph. Welcome in. Shout out to Raph, guys. Wait, are you done with your stream, Raph? How was it? Oh, wait. Huh. You're so hip. Okay. Raph's drunk, guys. What did you do to him? Did you torture him again? Again. Police say that Green was a ghost in San Francisco before 19, and now he's a ghost here too. What do you want to say, Malone? I don't know. I don't fucking know. As in I lie down and my head spins. Well, have some water, Raph. But I guess that's no surprise that you're drunk again. Or tipsy. Not drunk. Oh shit. You already had 5 beers before your stream started? What the heck? Why'd you do that to yourself? Okay, I think the thing about Stable is the big thing here, so that we can go back now. You went... Oh, and the beers just opened themselves. Nice. Well, you better rest up, Raph. Don't have to stay long. I know you didn't sleep, bitch. I know you didn't sleep. I like how this game is just us walking around looking for contradictions. Tiny Paul tells me that you two met last night. And then you met again early this morning. He said you look ragged, not much sleep. Then? Very well, I do admit that I spent yesterday searching for information on this case and that perhaps the search bled into this morning. In my situation, would you also not look for clues against Green, a man who had accused you of blackmail? I must have beamed at him, armed now with the knowledge that Stable had no alibi the previous night. I was about to say I'm leaving and there was another one open. Well... However, in my search to clear my name, I did in fact find a fact that might interest you. A fact that I had kept to myself, but if Paul wishes to lay claims at my feet, I might as well tell you. I looked at him quizzically. The Tin Spoon had a back exit. Oh! Patrons likely have no suspicion of it. But I am certain many of the staff know. They could enter and leave without anyone noticing. And how do you know this? Never mind how I came about the information. Just be thankful I'm giving it to you. If you don't believe me, I encourage you to ask others about it. This is a big thing, guys. So that is how Mrs. Green left. She went through the back exit. Let's talk to Paul about the back exit. Stable tells me there's a back exit to your joint. Might you have escaped that way last night? Back exit? I don't know what medicine Stable is using, or what medicine he should be using, but I don't know any back exits to the tin spoon. Interesting. Does he not know? Or is he just drunk, just like Raph? Let's go to the tin spoon then. Let's see if there is a back exit. Let's ask everyone. Like, let's ask Ray. Let's ask Ella. I have a source that says there's a back exit at the tin spoon. What do you know about this? Yes, we do have one. It's behind the women's changing rooms. I can't imagine any of the men know about it. They would never be able to get back there without causing a riot. But the girls use it whenever they need to slip away from customers who are too eager. So there's a back exit to the tin spoon that only women know about. That's right. Oh! Wait. Mrs. Green just confessed that she may have been in the bathroom. So that's it. She went through the back exit into the women's changing room. That's the proof we needed. Shit, no. It's not the guns. It's the opportunity. I have to prove that she could actually go out and kill her husband. What does that have to do with last night? I was in the pool room. No! Ella said you weren't in the pool room the whole time. There's a back door that only the female performers didn't use. Isn't that right, Mrs. Green? There's a back door that only the female... yes, I think you're right. I stepped out at some point during the night. Sometimes a girl needs fresh air, but I could not have been gone long. I was in the billiards room most of the night. Hey guys. How did Pixel get 2 raiders? Who's the other one? So Mrs. Green had no alibi at the time of Connor's death. You don't know either? Uh-oh. Pixel. Who's watching? Who's in your chat while you're not there? It's a ghost, most probably. Welcome in, guys. Huh. Okay, so she has no alibi. That checks out. So she had the opportunity. Now we just have to prove... Prove that she knows guns. Huh. Wait, we can prove, I think, her motive. Do you know if anybody with a reason, Miss Malone? If you're implying again that I was unhappy in your marriage, but you said earlier that he uses the St. Louis tickets as a hold on you. Shit. Okay, going back to the game, guys. I still don't know how to prove that she didn't love her husband. Yeah, take your time, Pixel. Think about it to yourself. Find the reason why you wanted to do it in the first place. Maybe you never know, right? Aw, of course. No worries, Pixel. Again, it's your destiny. Because my destiny is different. Especially if I have Destiny 2 and you have Destiny 1. That would be so different. We'll have different destinies. And if you have the expansions and I don't have it, you know, that's a different destiny right there. Very interesting. Yeah. Think about it internally. Like, think about it to yourself. Because if you think about it, Pixel, the only person that would be affected by you doing that is only yourself. Or maybe in the long run, someone else. But right now, it's gonna only affect yourself. So you only have to ask yourself what you're doing. Oh. Oh. See? Nodders. Look at that nodders. Okay. What am I missing, guys? I don't know. Maybe I should go to Southern Coffee and ask tips with Frankie. Cheers. Originals time? What do you mean? Oh, you're singing an original song? Oh, maybe we can ask about her about the past. Wait. I need to ask Mrs. Green about whether or not she knew that he was lying about his past. Wait, I think she said that she knew. Oh, does he have the same flowers? Tiny Paul was just asking questions. Wait. Does he have the same flowers? Oh, there. Oh, stupid me. Oh shit. So they are close. So the wilted flowers prove that Green and Paul are close. Wow, all these taxi rides. I don't know how much being a private investigator pays, but You are close because of your wilted flowers. There's some flowers I found in Tiny Paul's apartment that look much like the ones you've got here. I've got a few sources connecting you two. Perhaps Paul will let you take his gun. Or you could get to it without him noticing, and surely he wouldn't shoot you with it. Her face turned crimson. She denied my claims with just about every word in the thesaurus, but that face told me enough. Her and Tiny Paul were having an affair, which could give her enough motive to kill her husband. Okay, I can accuse her now. I have proof. I thought of accusing Fanny Green of killing her husband. Accusing someone of murder was certain to agitate them. I knew it was not something I should do lightly. They would refuse any further casual chats. But I was confident that she had killed Connor, including knowing the means, the motivation, and the opportunity. Yes, I know. It's very clear. Fanny Green, you killed your husband. Oh my god, are you serious, Akaru? Did you really do that? A stillness permeated the room as I spoke words. I can prove your means, your motivation, and opportunity. Fanny's face contorted, like I'd first seen her in Southern Coffee. She barked at me. What are you saying? I love my husband dearly. How dare you accuse me of murder? Prove means... Paul's gun. Tiny Paul's gun is missing, and he says only somebody close to him could grab it. What are you implying, Miss Malone? There's some flowers I found in Tiny Paul's apartment that look much like the ones in here. I've had a few sources connecting you two with an affair give you motive enough to kill your husband. Her and Tiny Paul were having an affair. Yes, that's what I proved already. I had shown Mrs. Green that Paul's missing gun could have been a murder weapon. Considering her affair with Tiny Paul, she also would have the perfect motive to kill her husband. I just needed to prove that Mrs. Green had the opportunity for murder. That's what I did. Isn't that enough? Maybe yes, maybe no, only may never, but okay, Akaru. Oh my god, I hope your internet is fine, Scorpion. What? Can I not prove it with that? It's clear. Like, what else isn't clear about it? I'm so annoyed. Shit, I won't prove opportunity then. I'll prove something else. Oh, the opportunity. Okay, I proved that she has the means. Then I will do. Okay, good night, Scorpion. She has no alibi. That's that's her thing. She has no alibi, so I can prove that she could do it. You admitted to being gone for parts of the night. That could have given you the perfect opportunity to murder your husband. It was clear now. I put it to her, Mrs. Green, you're the only one of my suspects with a provable motive, means, and opportunity for murder. You knew you had to leave your husband. You loved Paul, and as so often happens, you began hating Connor because of it. So you tailed him to see what he was scheming. Maybe you could sink his plans and have the mob do your dirty work. Then you met me. You learned your husband had been receiving death threats, and you knew that was your play. If he died, police would blame it on the underground. So last night, after your singing, you called Connor into the tin spoon. You snuck out of the billiards room and backed away, taking Paul's gun with you. That's when you shot him. Oh, hello, Sushi! How's it going, Sushi? I just solved the murder. She looked at me hotly, about to burst. Then she sighed and stared down at her feet. She began to cry. However, many opiates were running through her blood. They had lost all their effectiveness. I put an arm around her as she wept. Connor had made his life miserable. Made my life miserable, she said. Look around this dump. That's how ruined I am on the inside. Oh, that manipulative little sneak. You're right. I hated him. It's why I started going with Paul in the first place. Oh no, I never loved Paul. I wanted him to kill Connor. But after learning about Ella, how could I convince Paul that if he loves someone else? I had no way of leaving Connor. I slumped back to misery. What about a divorce? I offered. Divorce? She screamed the word back at me. Connor would never give me that. They say we're emancipated. Sure, but we still need our husband's permission to leave home. Oh shit. I was the only good thing that bum owned, and he would never let go of me. That's why I was chasing him yesterday. If I could prove infidelity, I'd demand a split in court. I got all excited when I saw you standing in your doorway. I had to follow you to make sure, but I was certain I had my way out. Only if it happened you were above board. You're a detective, and I was still trapped. After we met, I came home to find Connor waiting for me. He said we'll be leaving for St. Louis, leaving everything I'd known for a place I'd never been, with a man I didn't love. I couldn't do it, and I told him so. And then he struck me. She wiped away her tears, and with them came her blush and thick camouflage powder. A liver-colored spot the size of a silver dollar showed on her cheekbone. Oh! He hit her. He just marched out the door, and I didn't know what to do. And then you thought of Paul's gun, I concluded for her. That's right. Maybe Paul couldn't kill Connor, but I knew he carried a cannon, and I knew I would get to it. So you took Paul's gun and killed your husband. No, she said. No. That was my plan, but she broke off her sentence with a sniff and started another. I went to Paul's apartment late in the afternoon and grabbed his pistol. Then I came back here. I sat in this chair, petting the gun in my hand, wondering if I could do it. That's when he came in. Your husband? No, a much kinder man. Oh, he listened so well. I even told about my plan. This other man, you knew him? Yes. He has said he understood everything. He said he could frame the murder. He said not to worry. He took the gun. Oh? But I couldn't let him go through with it, you see? That's why I left the tin spoon last night, to stop him. That's when I met Redstone Stable. Oh! In response, I raised my eyebrow. She explained, I only met him last night. I had no idea that he had anything to do with my husband until this morning. The police told me at the station that Connor had suspected Stable. Shit. But I knew instantly that he was a terrible man. A woman's intuition never lies. Stable talks like a snake and has the looks to match. So you were both searching for the same person last night? I asked. Yes, but he wasn't around, I think, she sobbed. I'm tired of this. Who is it? It's the owner of that hat, she said, pointing to it. It's Franklin. Franklin? The police officer? No, that's Fred. Who's Franklin? Who the fuck is Franklin? Oh! Frankie, the bartender! The bartender who was helping me the whole time. She continued slowly. Yes, he took the gun from me yesterday. I was too dazed to argue. Nice story, I said. But you still fit the bill just fine. Phyllis, even if I had the gun, how could I know where to plant it? I only met Stable last night, and I knew nothing about him. Franklin had known about the case from you, isn't that right? You're only telling me this now? What's the big idea of stringing me along? Phyllis, Franklin did this for me. He saved me. If that awful man Stable has to take the fall so that Franklin can stay free, well, I shook my head and looked at her. If she was telling the truth, Stable could confirm it. And if she was lying, what if she ran? Well, she would get stopped soon enough. Good looks can be a curse and it would be a cinch to catch her. Okay. A man clearly wrote this sentence. Besides, with those opiates in her, she would have definitely difficulty standing, let alone running everywhere. I gazed at her and she understood what I was thinking. I'll be right here if you come back. I wondered why she would fabricate such a story if she knew she was stuck. Then I thought, what if she's telling the truth? I had to speak with Frankie. Damn! 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 As I hailed a taxi cab from Southern Coffee, I went over the facts again, trying to deny them, but they all fit too well. Shit! That is a twist! That is a twist that I did not expect. Frankie had been infatuated with Mrs. Green. You're right. He was. He said it earlier. And he could have gone to visit her. He could have taken the gun. He knew about Stable from when I told him about the case, and he could have planted it at the racetrack. Those facts might be explained away innocently, but it was the combination. Frankie was the only person with means, motivation, and opportunity to kill Green. You're right there. I stepped out of the cab, hoping Frankie could give me another explanation for all of it. I walked down the creaking steps. That familiar basement smell added to the lump in my throat. I must have spent some time looking around the place, inhaling it. Eventually, my eyes fell on Frankie. He gave me a generous smile that I knew well. I pulled out the hat and showed it to him. This hat belongs to you, I said in a flat tone. Frankie gaped. If I had any doubts, that look erased them. You killed Connor Green. Frankie's next sentence was short, delivered after a sigh. I always remembered it. I can't lie to you, he said. My jaw began to quiver, either from sadness or from anger. It was hard to be sure. Why get wrapped up in all this? Does that dimple girl mean much to you? Frankie shook his head. This will be a long story. Oh shit, tell me. I let him talk. As heated as I was, I had to know why Frankie would kill my client. It's that sheet. He motioned to the newspaper flopped on the bar. I knew it! That newspaper was there so suspiciously. Like, that newspaper was like, why is that newspaper there? 1887, the St. Louis Browns, my last good season. My career was ruined by Thomas Kinney. Kinney was a mob boss, you see. He ran St. Louis politics, above ground and below. He was cruel to everyone, sure, but he had a special hate for blacks. In 1887, that hate came to baseball. One practice, a local kid comes up to the fence and calls Murray, our left fielder, over to him. He tells Murray that every Browns player has to sign on a letter, which says that we refuse to play against the Brooklyn Cubans, a colored team. The kid runs off. We all knew that who the orders really came from. Oh! Hello! One practice, a local kid comes up to the fence and calls Murray, our left fielder, over to him. He tells Murray that every Browns player has to sign onto a letter, which says that we refuse to play against the Brooklyn Cubans, a colored team. The kid then runs off. We all knew who the orders really come from. Okay, so everything is about... This is so... If I refused to ink it, Kinney's gang would run me out of baseball or worse. But some of the best teammates and people I'd known over the years had been black. I was torn up about it. In the end, I guess I was just a kid who wanted to play. I didn't want the trouble. I signed with the others. It was the worst decision I've ever made, Malone. It's haunted me since. I started on the hooch and I never played the same again. I became the booze hound of St. Louis in the dumps at every bar in town. But this louse had tales about old Thomas Kinney and a way of telling them that kept the others interested. Maybe my rumors worked. Kinney lost the next election. Just a few weeks later, he died of tuberculosis. Kinney's partner, Tom Egan, blamed me for all of it. Oh! I knew I had to blow St. Louis, so I went to Philly. I ran into my old pitching partner, Matt Kilroy, who had opened the bar. He invited me to run it with him as long as I stopped drinking myself. Under his eye, I made it. I got sober by working in a speakeasy, if you can believe that. I even married Kilroy's sister and became stepfather to her 2 boys. Well, by then Egan had renamed the gang and Egan's rats had spread east. They came for me one night and I barely ducked their spray. Lucky a cop was near his beat or I could have circled they would have circled around and finished the job. I had a great life in Philly, but I had to give it up. I couldn't put my new family in that danger. I fled out west where I knew the rats didn't have a foothold. Philly was the second time those bastards ruined my life. Oh shit. And when you discovered that Green was part of Egan's rats, you wouldn't let him ruin you a third time. Frankie laughed. No, Malone. I could have run easy. My life here ain't much. I have nobody here, really. Except you. What? Sure, I could flee somewhere else, but it's you. Egan's rats won't leave an end loose. If Green had reached St. Louis, they'd have come back and tied you up. Oh, so he was protecting me. He killed Connor just to protect me. I can run from town to town, but I can't make you do that. I was the one who told you to take the case, remember? I had to stop them from hounding the rest of your life. I stared at him without thought or emotion. He said, I did this for you. Poetic, Frankie, I countered. But this only proves you had no faith in me. Just like Green, who had hired me because he thought I wouldn't see through his scheme. Or his wife, who was hoping I would gum up the works for the police. You thought I couldn't hold my own. I'm just some flapper playing in a man's world, is that right? Frankie shrugged. I just wanted to protect you. Well, I can protect myself, I told him. Yes, bitch! Yes, girl! And without any murders. Ugh! Power! He sighed. I suppose I wouldn't blame you for taking me in, he said. No, I won't fight if you want to drag me to the hall, but the police have stopped looking for a killer. If you let me, I'd keep running. It's up to you. Ah! I'm sorry. I'm sorry, but I have to arrest Frankie. Shit. Oh, good night, Pixel. Night, night. Of course, no worries. Okay, the question is, if I play this game again by myself, can I see the other ending? Yeah, I think I should arrest him. Like, I feel like I've made my portrayal of the character as someone who would do anything for justice, you know? And even if that means arresting a friend who even did the murder just to save me, I'm sorry. Oh! It doesn't matter, guys. It doesn't matter. Whatever I chose, the game will end. Oh, damn! That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. Oh, good night, Mark. Yeah, good night to you too. Shout out to G Mercy. Inkle! Wait, Inkle helped this? Oh, no wonder it looked nice. That was a nice game. That twist was something else. Oh, good night, Nix. Good night to all of you. Is that how you three are like? You're just sleeping at the same time at this point? It was a few mornings later that I received a knock on my door. A small man in a light blue uniform asked me to sign a package and handed me an envelope in a brown box. I opened the envelope. Inside was a large looped writing of Mrs. Frances Green. It was a long note spanning multiple leaves. I only skimmed most of it. She must have used every allegory known to man to apologize for her behavior in the case. She then claimed she was starting a life anew, riddling herself of reminders of her late husband. Finally, she said she was sorry about Franklin and any part she played in his unfortunate actions. As I read the name Franklin again, a drop fell on the smudged ink. Ah! I wiped my cheek before more drops could join it. Mrs. Green's note ended with the hope that this gift of hers would begin to remedy any grudges I'd had against her. Though truly, I felt none. Yeah, because it wasn't her fault. I turned the box and removed one side of tape from the cardboard, then snapped the flaps open with a couple of loud pops. Rolled in a loose ball inside the box was Lewis's gray coat. Oh shit. I put it on and looked myself in the mirror. I grabbed the lapels and pulled them tight. The trench coat suited me. I wondered how Green had first gotten hold of it. That innocent question was about to lead to a lot of trouble. What? Is this like a prequel? Oh, damn. Oh, that is so good. That is such a good ending. That is such a good ending. Oh, no wonder it's like a case of distrust. I get it now. That was good. Yeah, right, Bella. That was so good. I hope he makes a continuation. I hope he doesn't stop here, because that was such a good game. That was such a good story. Oh my god, I don't know. I'm at a loss for words. That was such a good story, and the fact that we got my uncle's coat back to me, and that Phyllis was wearing the coat at the end. That was such a poetic ending. It's really good. Well, anyway, for anyone who just came in, like Mr. Cino or Venus, try out this game. It's very quick, as you can see. It's a very tight mystery game, so it's quite. I got lost earlier. That's the thing. I got lost earlier, and wow, I'm in shock because I didn't expect a twist. I thought I had the twist in my head. I thought I knew the twist in advance, but the game just pulled the rug from under me and revealed a different twist. So I'm in shock. This is a really good game. I hope the guy really continues this and continues the story.